They're waiting for us.
We had important things to discuss there first.
We had pictures to look at.
Oh, did you send me those too?
I did.
Oh, exciting. Speaking of what we were just talking about.
I feel like this one's older. I just sent an older, but I guess he still just looks the same.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, other than the gray streak in his hair, huh?
Yeah.
But it works.
It works.
And when he's shirtless, his tattoos are glistening.
Hey.
It's okay. Lamont would agree.
Hey, Jordan
That's the
Ford.
way Valerie talks about me.
Hey, Jordan Ford, Atticus B. Rockin', Martin, Hooligan Nation, Ron the Materator, Trey B. Paul. Hey, Raider Dad.
Hey, Josh.
He said, what type of pictures are we sending each other? Don't worry about that. Don't tell us about your life.
We were discussing the anti-aging of one Brandon Boyd from the band Incubus.
It's worth a Google. Throw it up in the Goog.
Oh, Yoshi with a $50 donation to the One Nation Foundation. Right off the rip.
Come on, bro. Thank you.
Hey, Mikey is in the building. Says first time tuning in. Big fan on Twitter. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Is that Mikey?
No, no, new Mikey.
New Mikey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Mikey?
It's the first time tuning in, so no, it's not that
Right
Mikey.
on. Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Hope we don't let you down.
He's our
But
favorite
the odds
Mikey right
are
now.
we might.
Hey, it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
That's right. Ask Kevin Durant.
Hey, Lee B is in the building. Says, been a long time, guys.
Lee B. What's
Lee
Lee B?
Yep, good
Not
to see
Kevin
you, my
Durant.
friend.
Kevin Garnett. What am I thinking? I'm all over the place.
Chris.
Hey,
up, Chris?
sweetheart.
Hey. All right, here we go. Let's kick off episode number 364. Yes?
Yeah.
Of Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, guys? Hey, it's Mike Garofalo, NFL Network here in the home office, and you are listening to the Raiders Fan Radio podcast, taking that lighter journey into the dark side with Murf, Swag Jeff, and Michelle. She's got great hair. It's a little pink, it's a little purple, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, if I could grow it, I would sign up for that color today. So listen to her and the entire crew as they give you all the information on the Raiders on the podcast that benefits the One Nation Foundation. It's a great cause. It's a great pod. Tune in, turn it up. Here it comes. All that Raiders info and takes coming at you right now.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Paletnikov, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio. Take it away, guys.
Why, thank you, Brett Musburger. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we trust will be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 364 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live from the cabin in the woods. Here as we are in the middle of nowhere, trucking in Starlink. Thank goodness for Elon, otherwise we wouldn't be able to bring you this show. So I'll just say this, if there's a little hitch, a little giddy up at times in the show, just know that we are in the middle of nowhere and we're doing the best that we can. But don't worry about refreshing your feed. It'll catch back up. But anyways, we're doing the best we can with that, Swag Jeff.
I don't think we've been having problems the last couple shows.
It's a little hitchy. It'll get a little glitchy sometimes.
It's all right.
We go like
that's
this.
life, baby.
Like we do robot. We go like, but it sounds great the whole time.
I'm gonna start doing that like when it's good. I'm
Oh,
gonna start doing the robot or something
and they'll just
like that.
mess with people.
Yeah, just to screw with people.
Well, they would love that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, so thank you for joining us for this episode number 364 of Raiders Fan Radio. As I mentioned, you can join us live each and every week on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find us at youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio and jump in with the best damn chat room there is in all this Raider stuff, and especially in all of sports, if you ask us. They are funnier than we are. They know more about football than we do. They are incredibly kind and generous, like our buddy Yoshi, who out of the gate is dropping a $50 donation. Thank you, brother. 100% of that money will go to our nonprofit, which is the One Nation Foundation, where we give that money away exclusively to Raiders-related charities. So thank you to your generosity, for your generosity there, Yoshi. We cannot appreciate you enough, brother. Did he say anything with his super chat there?
Up.
Or did he just donate there? I want to make sure.
He just said, hope everyone is well.
Thank you,
Hope everyone's
Yoshi.
well. Yep. And then Raider Truth Chicken with a $20 donation as well says, cluck. We have a proven coach, cluck, but temper my expectations. Go Raiders and RFR.
Oh, right on, man. Thank you, Raider Truth Chicken, very much for that very kind donation. Thank you to Yoshi. And as I mentioned, we give our money away exclusively to Raiders-related charities, like the good folks at the Bolitnikoffs, who are taking young women at risk of domestic violence and substance abuse and giving them not only safe spaces, but offering rehabilitative and counseling services. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization. And 100% of that money is going to go to those folks. And this year, the folks at Raider Dad, who we once again are going to sponsor their preseason event, where they're taking over 50 kids that are underprivileged to a Raider game, along with their parental figures, and offering up not just the game. It's a full tailgate. They get jerseys. They get, all kinds of merch and food, and from Jay's Gourmet and Happy Dad, not for the kids, but for the dads and the moms. But it's just a wonderful, wonderful organizations that we're partnered with, and we can't support them without your generosity. So thank you to those of you that have already generated monetarily tonight, Raider True Chicken and Yoshi. And even if you can't support us monetarily, we just ask for your support for the show. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, hit a thumbs up, tell your Raider friends about us, hit a retweet. Any of that stuff goes to help us, because it helps with our advertising dollars, and which, again, we give all that money away. And we've seen a little bit of, we've always been like a real slow growth. Like, we've never had like the whole hockey stick, as they say. We've always been a real slow growing show. I think we're an acquired taste. We're not a typical Raider show around here. We call it the lighter side journey into the dark side. For those of you that are new to the show, who's the new Mikey? You said was new in there. So for Mikey and anybody else that's new to the show, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We take our Raider fandom pretty seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. Just like to have a good time and play around a little bit. And it's pretty irreverent, I would say, is what this show is. So anyway, so hang around for it. Thank you for being here, everybody that is here. But I don't do this show alone. So for those, if you are new, my name's Murf, but I don't do this show alone. I do this show with my two best friends in the whole world. First off, starting the man that's over here to the right of the poker table. Give it up for my best friend and yours. He is Swag Jeff. What up, Swaggo?
It's styling and profiling.
I haven't felt this good in a minute, pal. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good? You looking good?
Well, I could be better.
No Diddy, you're looking great, bro.
Well, thanks, man. I feel like I've got the drip going a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the all white and all that stuff. I feel good, and
you're ready for an away game over there.
I'm ready for a road game. Yeah, for sure.
And you got the stew going.
I'm rocking the butcher, man.
Rocking the butcher.
Gotta rock the butcher, bro. So shout out Stu for sure. So, but yeah, we see where the future is going with our team, and and it looks bright. I mean, I like
it.
I think we were talking before the show. I'm cautious.
Not about this. Not about the Raiders.
Hey, easy, Dad, easy. But we're cautiously optimistic up in here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So can't thank you guys enough for being here. Martin in the building, Mikey, Raider Roo, Tony Collins, Smacks Burner is in there. Hooligan Nation, Mr. Wilson, Raider Dad is in there. Jordan.
Speaking of Raider Dad.
Speaking of Raider Dad. Ron the Mater Raider, Raider Lorian, Martin, Paul, the Raider Truth Chicken. Gabriel Ritchie is in there. Edgar Hernandez is in there. Yeah, we got the whole Rogue Code just jumped in the building. So we've got all the amazing people, like Murf said, the most amazing chat room in all of Raider Nation, if we don't say so ourselves. But yeah. Hey.
Thank goodness we don't.
Do what?
Do the show alone.
Oh, well, yeah. Thank goodness for that.
Pause.
No, you pause.
You pause. I tell you pause.
Oh my gosh.
You'll tell me pause. I tell you pause.
Oh, nice. So sitting across from me, the one and only, the lovely Michelle Sweat.
Hi, Michelle.
Guys, hey. Okay, so Dave S. is also a first-time listener.
Okay, great.
But he also has had breaking news per Josina Anderson that the Raiders are working on a deal to bring Patrick Graham back. So,
okay, nice.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic is what they're not getting me again. So
you're saying you're not going to predict another 14-3 season?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Night's not over yet.
Absolutely.
Michelle, we missed you last week, so
oh yeah.
I want to put you on the spot, but you talked a lot about the GM hire last week.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't get a chance to get in on that. You want to wait until we get in the show proper before we talk about that stuff?
Yeah, we can wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you been? Everything good?
I've been good. Yeah. I was just working on art and ready. I got a 2-day show in Louisville coming up, so I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you, Michelle, for being here, of course. And as we always like to play,
best friends that anybody could have. We're the 3 best friends that anyone could have. We're the 3 best friends that anyone can have. And we'll never, ever, 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 ever leave each other.
And so we appreciate you, Raider Nation, being here for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. As I mentioned, it is episode number 364. And so we always kick off the show by taking our episode number and tying it back to something significant within Raider Nation. And that honor and duty goes to my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff. Swag Jeff, what do we have tonight?
Absolutely, man. So today we're going to be celebrating and remembering the Raider career of strong safety Michael Huff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm in for it.
Raider
All
legend Michael Huff. So he was drafted in the first round, 7th overall of the 2006 NFL draft.
Texas.
Absolutely. He immediately became a starter in 2006, made 78 tackles, and was credited with a safety as well. In 2007, he had a solid year, picking up his first career interception against Kansas City, resulting in a game-winning field goal to help beat the Chiefs 2017 that game. He was moved to free safety over the next 3 seasons, and in 2010, Huff gathered 3 interceptions and had a career high in almost every defensive category, resulting being awarded second-team All-Pro.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. So
he was good. He was good in Madden too.
He was great in Madden.
Him and Tyvon Branch together in that secondary were legit. And then you had
legit.
Namdi up there with like Chris Johnson. Like,
heck yeah,
those Raider teams were killer on that.
And Stu, right?
And Stu.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, for sure.
Nice. Good call out.
And in 2011, one day after Al Davis's death, Huff intercepted a pass at the end of the game against the Houston Texans, preserving an emotional win for the Raiders. And it was later discovered that the Raiders only had 10 men on the field on that faithful day.
Oh, yeah.
So in 2012, his last season with Silver and Black, he started at free safety, was pressed into service at corner due to injuries. So his career with the Raiders, Michael Huff recorded 11 interceptions, 5.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 53 passes defended, and a total of 364 solo tackles.
Oh my gosh. Nicely done, dude.
Well, yeah. Thanks, T-Hom.
Nicely done, T-Hom. That's fantastic. Yeah, those Raider teams, man. So Stu is like was he drafted in 06?
06?
I think so. Yeah. Yep. And so it's from 06. You had a lot of guys came through that. And that team, like,
that defense was solid.
Defense is good. People be like, oh, yeah, because the offense was so bad that they never had to throw the football, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I don't care. It was a top 10 defense. And how many times have the Raiders had a top 10 defense in the last 20 years? So whatever. Y'all friggin' explain it away all you want. All I'm telling you is that we had some talent on that damn defense.
Yep.
And so, yeah, hopefully we can get back to that. And wow, Paul Gunther's, or not Paul Gunther.
Oh, golly.
Sorry, wrong.
Get the soap.
Wrong
Wrong
PG. I
PG.
know, wrong PG. Patrick Graham sticking around. That's very, very interesting. Well, I definitely want to explore that with you guys. But before we get into the Raider talk, and I promise you, we're going to talk about the Raiders. But before we do, Swag Jeff.
Yes.
Hit us with some Uncle Mosh contact information.
All right. Before I do that, I'm going to highlight a couple of super chats that are going to the One Nation Foundation. That Jordan Ford, that says Harbaugh had to get surgery this offseason to get prepped to go for round 3 against Pop Pop Pete.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with a $5 donation to the One Nation Foundation.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And then Kevin the Raider Nerd jumps in there.
Come on, Kevin.
Says, glad we have Pete. I really hope they add a quarterback from the draft or free agency. My expectations are Michelle-leveled tempered. Yeah, for sure. But with a $50 donation to the One Nation Foundation.
Kevin, bro.
Thank you.
You know, and thank you to all the donations. But when we see those big numbers come through, it always, I mean, of course, it's going to get our attention. Kevin last week said, when he gave his super chat, he said, I was the first one to give a super chat. And I was, in the moment, I was thinking like that was his first time, but clearly not. It wasn't. No. He was the very first person to ever donate money to the show and to donate to the foundation.
Oh, how cool is that?
It's Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's as OG as you can get, man.
Yeah,
like Kevin's, he's like back, what 2012, Michelle? 2016.
Oh, damn.
2016. Kevin's been with us since 2016.
So before it became Raiders Fan Radio.
Yeah, when we were Raider Fan Cast. Yeah, back in those days. Yeah. Kevin was at our tailgate. We met him in person for the first time when we did the tailgate, the first of the 3-game run of the Titans and Raiders in Nashville. Kevin was at that very first tailgate we did. That was back when it was just me and Sonny.
Yeah, and I was there.
You were there too. Absolutely. Yeah. And so we put on a tailgate at that, and it was great. We did a live recording and all that stuff. Kevin came by. It was the first time we met him in person, and everybody was calling him Raider Boba Fett because nobody knew what a Mandalorian was back then.
Right.
I did because I'm a Star Wars nerd, but for the most part, like people would just call him Raider Boba Fett. So that's how long Kevin's been rolling with us, man. 8 years.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Actually going on 9 now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Damn,
And speaking of people rolling with us,
okay, let's go.
At Intel in the building,
yeah.
just he doesn't say anything, but just drops a $100 donation to the Nation Foundation. Come on, Intel.
Thank you, Intel.
Yep. As
Intel,
Martin says, bang.
bang. Intel always coming through for us.
My gosh.
And coming through for the foundation. And so out of respect for that, out of Kevin and Yoshi and Rare True Chicken, and there was another one in there too.
Yeah, Jordan Ford.
Out of respect for all the donations, Michelle, talk a little bit about, because I mean, I always want to make sure we highlight where this money's going. I think it's important. And yes, I know everybody's here to hear us talk about the Raiders, and we want to talk about the Raiders with you, but we're doing this for a cause. And so I never want to skip over that and talk a little bit about the importance of like, not only what we're doing with Raider Dad, if you want to get into that, but especially the Bolitnikoffs, because I know that was near and dear to you.
Yeah. So the Tracy's Place of Hope gives women who are victims of domestic violence a safe space to be free from the torture and turmoil of her life. They give her things that you don't think about: pillows, blankets, her own bed, counseling, and just things that you can't fathom what someone goes through when they're in those situations. And for them to have a safe space to just breathe without being in fear is something that I just think it can't be quantified. And so every single dollar that's given goes to help, even if it's just helping one person. It's just a tremendous cause. And it's one that I've been a victim of domestic violence. So I understand the fear that they feel. I understand the hopelessness of thinking I'll never get out of this situation. So knowing that there's a place for them to go, you just can't fathom it unless you can really put yourself in their place. So to give it warms my heart to see that. And they've got places they want places across the country. And I think that is so important. So it's just a special organization.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing that.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, let's hear from Uncle Mosh, and then let's talk about the Raiders a little bit. Huh?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Woo! Woo! Hey, Raider Nation! You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say it,
909-345-3346.
How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, the Twit at Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio, Insta something, Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio,
the ticky-ticky-tocky-tock.
TikTok at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about the Twitch? Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube.
America, go to the YouTube. I got to get that soundbite back.
YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good.
Oh my
man.
gosh,
That may be the best one we've ever done. That may be the best one we've ever done.
I think
That was one voice.
That was one voice.
That was one damn voice.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm fired up, man.
Jacked, bro.
Freaking vibes are high, man.
Oh,
let's go.
dude.
Let's go.
Yeah. Almost got goosebumps right there. That was.
What do you mean almost?
Hey.
I got chicken skin, bro.
Oh,
I think I did too.
Did you?
That was really incredible. That was solid.
Jeez.
Holy shit.
All right, thanks for joining us for this episode of Raiders
Fan Radio.
We're done. That's it.
I mean, well, how much better can it
It's
get?
not going to get any better than that.
Good night,
That's
everybody.
it.
Thanks for coming.
Raider Rick says, outstanding.
Yes. That's exactly what it was.
That's what I was thinking. But anyways, I appreciate all of those of you joining us live tonight. I appreciate everybody that's new to the show again. So let's go ahead and talk about the Raiders. So the big news of the day, right, is this amazing press conference that we had this last week. And you know, a lot of times we pull audio and play through audio bits, whatever. I think at this point, everyone's had to have heard the entirety of the press conference. If you're listening to this show, odds are you listened to the press conference. All three of us were listening to it live.
Yep.
Texting each other about every little thing that came out, including in our another text group that Jeff and I are in. And like, it was funny because even people were like, oh no, he said Raiders Nation, talking about Pete Carroll, right?
I think he just misspoke.
He misspoke because he said Raider Nation earlier on in the thing. So don't hold him to that. But so we came off of the last week where we had Spy Tech get hired. And for those of you that listen to the show, Jeff and I kind of gave our take on Spy Tech last week and how favorable this was for us and what that showed, that Tom Brady's influence because of his connections to John and like all the favorability around that. But then it was like the big question was, well, still, what are we going to do for head coach? And I think that, here, on these microphones, we've talked about Todd Monken. We've talked about Cliff Kingsbury. We've talked about Ben Johnson plenty. We've talked about all the leading candidates. And we've not glossed over Pete, but I think we all knew.
A little we did.
Yeah, well, I think we knew it was a possibility, but I feel like we didn't explore it in conversation. I'll speak for myself. I feel like I didn't bring it up enough about Pete because we know who and what Pete is. We don't know what Ben Johnson is going to be as a head coach. We don't know what Liam Cohen is going to be as a head coach. We don't know what Cliff Kingsbury 2.0 is going to be as a head coach. We don't know what Todd Monken would look like as a head coach, right? So you got all these guys. So, we don't even know what Aaron Glenn's going to look like as a head coach, right? Going to the Jets. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty around those guys. There's no uncertainty around Pete. And I think that this is what I loved about this press conference and where this thing went, not only introducing Spytech, but introducing Pete. There was a couple of questions that kind of got floated out there and it wasn't directed at a particular person, and Pete jumped in. Pete's the dad. He's Papa Pete. That's why I named the show, this episode, Papa Pete. He's the wise man in the room. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We are a Raiders fan show, so we are going to unapologetically be positive around the Raiders until there isn't a reason to. All you got to do is rewind this show 2 months ago, and you can hear all the negativity you've ever wanted to hear. And we've heard it from people that are faithful listeners of this show, calling us out for how negative we were. Well, shit, we were down bad.
Yeah.
We lost 10 games in a row. So, yeah, we were negative. Well, now here comes a turning point with these two guys that have been brought in now. And there was like a, I don't want to oversell this thing, but like listening to Pete talk, it was beyond the quote, there's an adult in the room, right? It felt like, it was almost like we're safe. We're safe with this guy.
Yeah.
We're safe with Pete. Like it's this thing is not going to go off the rails. He is too seasoned, too accomplished, too educated, to everything that has to do with football at all the different levels, that this thing, I feel like it's impossible for this to go off the rails. Now, I thought it was impossible that Antonio Pierce was only going to win 4 games in year 2. I thought there was no way in hell that was ever going to happen. So I'm not trying to sell a false narrative or false hope and try to make it sound like, okay, like this thing is fixed and it's all over, because it's been 20 years of most part misery. So the idea that this thing is just going to turn around, no. But I think that when we have a guy like Pete, if he's the guy that can, almost get tired of using this term, but restore the culture, right? Like bring that winning mentality back, bring the level of competition up, to bring that back to this organization to a healthy level, and then hand it off to the next guy. What more would you want out of a head coach? And if I hear old again, my head's gonna explode. This guy's got more youth and more enthusiasm and energy than most all of us doing this show and listening to this show.
Truth.
Period.
True.
The guy is a next level freaking kind of energy and presence. So the number is meaningless, and I'm glad that he addressed it. I'm not thrilled with the way our freaking reporters kept bringing it up in 3 different ways and asking the same question. Just freaking let the guy answer and move on to something else. But anyways, the point being though is that I don't want to call it irrelevant, because Father Time is undefeated, but it's not relevant now. It ain't relevant today. Will it be relevant in 3 or 4 years? Maybe, but it's not relevant today. And I'm worried about the Raiders that are, not the Raiders that aren't. And today, Pete Carroll is the head coach of the Raiders that are. And so he's got a full faith endorsement from me. John Spytech gets a full faith for whatever that matters, my stupid fan opinion. But like, I'm thrilled with where this went. And I feel like this is another decision reflective highly positively on Mark, and again on Tom Brady, because now we know Tom Brady's calling a lot of these shots. Mm-hmm. Mark's turned this shit over. Yeah. Like we've heard that from numerous sources, from McAfee and Rich Eisen and all these different, the biggest of the biggest of sports talk hosts have talked about that this is a Brady influence here. And so I'm in love with it until I'm not, and I might fall out of love with it next year. But as of right now, today, Swag Jeff, I'm all in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think that this was, after the Antonio Pierce experience, after the rah-rah that was Antonio Pierce, the culture that he was building, and, for everyone that was worried, players and all that were worried, well, what's the culture going to be like now? I think Pete Carroll was the perfect hire. Where he's not the rah-rah guy, but he's got the juice. He's got fire, and he can do it in his own way. And, when you have a guy like Marshawn Lynch that's out there screaming,
that was cool.
Screaming Raiders in the middle of this press conference, to have his endorsement, to have Max standing out there, watching the whole thing
was
huge. That was really huge. And Max talked about it on his podcast a little bit. Like, I want to see what this dude was all about, man. I got to, talk to him a little bit when he was going through the interview process, but to actually see him there and for Pete to look up at him and go, hey dude, I'm talking to you right now. Like, tell the boys, like, let's go. Like that was so incredible. So I think that this really was just an absolutely an incredible hire. And I could just listen to this guy speak. You know, I could listen to this guy talk. He could, you know, I mean, he's one of those guys that, you know, he just commands a room, commands respect. And because he's done it at every level that you can possibly do it. And so like he, you know, just is going to demand respect. And, you know, for him to work side by side with Spytek and Tom Brady, this was an incredible hire.
Yeah. I think like with Antonio Pierce, we could only imagine how well he was going to do. And we imagined quite magnificently, but that was, everything was in our imagination. With Pete Carroll, we know what he can do. His resume is literally on the grass. Like it's already there.
Michelle.
So we already know. And I think for me, I'm no longer going to, not that I ever really just put my opinion on the line. Like I know this guy's going to be good, but we already know what he's capable of. And so it is nice to have an adult in the room, you know, I mean, or professional that's been there, done that on all the levels. There's a comfort there that regardless of, you know, the whatever, however he bring it however he does, because at least we know what he's capable of. And that there's a comfort in that.
I agree 100%. And I love the idea that he's bringing a lot of juice to this division in terms of coaching. Like, you know, a lot of us wanted the young offensive guy, right? The next evolution of coach and all that. And I'll own that. That I was a huge supporter of that too. You know what I mean?
Thank goodness we didn't get Liam Cohen.
That guy's weird, man. Like, what the fuck?
He's a nerd, bro.
Wait, is he the one that went to
Jacksonville?
Duval. What the hell?
Bro,
that was awful.
Get out of here with that. Could you imagine him going, Raiders?
I would have gone. Oh, God.
Like,
I would have gone. Yeah, that was so bad. That was so embarrassing.
We dodged a bullet and a half with that dude.
That was so embarrassing.
No, that's... There's corny, and then there's just next level, like... No, that guy's... Well, and I saw someone on Twitter... and I don't know if this is a song lyric or whatever, or if it's just a term that they had, but they said, never trust someone who moves in the shade. And that's what he did. That's
he sure did.
100% what he did.
Yeah,
Yep, he sure did.
Signed back up with Tampa with a record contract and then dips on him and goes to the freaking Jaguars. I love that term. Never trust someone that moves in the shade. And that son of a bitch moved to like hell in the shade and then came out like a dork in his press conference. I'm like,
so
no
bad.
thanks.
Yeah.
No,
We
thanks.
good.
We good. Yeah.
We'll stick with Papa Pete.
We'll stick with Papa Pete. I hope that name sticks too, because I had a Papa Pete.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's why.
Nice.
Pete Aiello, old school Dago, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cool as hell.
Nice.
Yeah. Drove a big block El Camino. Like, I mean,
nice.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture.
Okay, good. We're all about the pictures tonight.
We are.
Send me all this shit. Send me all your damn pictures.
But what else was I going to talk about? I don't remember, because I was coming off the heels of what Michelle was saying there.
Talking about the offensive-minded coaches that we could have got.
Yeah. So I think that, go back to the division. That's what it was. So when you look at, so whether it's Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Todd Monken, yada, 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 Cliff Kingsbury, when you look at those guys, we don't know what, again, unproven commodity, what that looks like in a division with Harbaugh, with Peyton, with Reed. Well, now we know. We've got a guy. We've got a guy that has a history, not only with Harbaugh, but with the others as well. But with Harbaugh, not only does it go back to the previous NFL stops, but to the freaking college. These guys have not liked each other for 20 freaking years. I love that. Like, give me the guy. Like, he's, going to your point, Michelle, like, he's not going to be intimidated. He ain't intimidated by Andy Reid and freaking Patrick Mahomes and all their rings, and hopefully not another one. But like, he ain't intimidated by Sean Payton. He sure shit ain't intimidated by Jim Harbaugh, because he doesn't
kicked
like
his ass for 25 years.
Exactly. So like, I love the fit that ends. Now, I'm not trying to dismiss the importance of, again, that next evolution and all that. And like, you know, when it comes to coordinator hires, Jeff, like, there's a lot of talk already about Darrell Bevell. Let me touch on that real quick. I'm gonna throw it to you.
Okay.
When it comes to the Darrell Bevell conversation, I'm not as opposed to it as some others are. And, you know, he runs a West Coast offense. He's firmly rooted in the idea that you don't all ever do one thing. He's not about lining up 3 tight ends and run the football all game long, and he's also not about lining 4 or 5 wide and throwing the ball all game long. He's all about like changing and moving within the context of the game and personnel and all that kind of stuff. So I like his offensive philosophy. He had a top 10 scoring offense for 4 years straight under Pete with Seattle. But a lot of folks are like, well, yeah, but that's prime Marshawn, that's prime Russ, like that's the Legion of Boom. Like, okay, so I get all that. I get the context. But Al Davis said, you have a great organization, you get great coaches, you get great players. Right. You get great coaches, you get great players, then you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, go win, baby. Right? Or just win, baby. Go win, baby. The fuck was that? Jeez, Jesus.
Welcome to Raiders Fan Radio.
God, we said good. We really should have just
I know I should have stopped.
Easy with the Raiders Nation with your black and silver.
Yikes, man. I hope the chat
a real
room,
fan would never do
if you
that.
don't shit on me in the chat. A true Raider fan would
Raider
never.
fan
We
would
were there,
never.
so we saw it. We know.
We know. Oh my gosh. If the chat room doesn't shit on me, I'm disappointed in you all.
Yeah.
That's what we call a misspeak in the biz. So Al Davis said,
Martin said the autumn breeze.
Oh, that's amazing.
oh my gosh. Ravaging just for fun. Yeah. Anyways, but so that's what Al Davis said. And so you got to set up the coaches before you can get to the players. So that said, I understand that Darrell Bevell has had a challenge with some of his more recent stops. And you could even say over the last handful of years, okay? Maybe even more than that, maybe even more than a handful of years. But I do know what he did under Pete. And, taking a step back and not calling plays for a while, is there an opportunity to learn and then become more innovative and then, and then bring that? I mean, at the end of the day, shout out Max Crosby. At the end of the day, you got to have a quarterback, right? So however we land on a quarterback, whether that's trading up or trading for a free agent or whatever, or not free agent, trading for somebody else or picking up a free agent, whatever it is, there's going to be a lot of opportunity there to bolster this personnel, the personnel on this football team. You know what I mean? And so, like, listen, I'm not in love with Darrell Bevell, and I said it on Twitter earlier today. I'm not trying to sell anybody on Darrell Bevell, but I get it. I kind of get it that he would be a candidate, because after that, I mean, you got to find some up and coming QB coach somewhere, or bring back, Byron Leftwich, or you know what I mean? Like, those are the kind of options there. So I'm not mad at that, but I do think it's important. Then let me throw it to you on this, Jeff. I do think it's important that we got Patrick Graham coming back. Yeah. Interesting. Tom McMahon's coming back, right? Our special teams coach. Interesting. So that's 2 coordinators down. We got 1 more to go. Sure shit ain't going to be friggin' Scott Turner. It's not going to bring back Luke Getsy. So outside of pulling someone off of the new heap, you might go back to something that's familiar to you and won you a goddamn Super Bowl in Darrell Bevell. So
absolutely.
There's my spiel.
Well, Bevell, he talked about during the press conference, when they talked about him building a staff, he said, I'm going to bring back some faces that I know, that I'm comfortable working with. They're comfortable working with me, all that kind of stuff. And, and he said, and we're also going to evaluate and try to keep some people in the building here. So here we go. We saw that first domino fall. If Patrick Graham if that is official, that he's sticking around, and hopefully they keep Rob Leonard around as well.
Do you think that's a Max thing?
I think that's a Max thing. I think, yes. Yes, and why not? Because Spytek said, we're not going to let our pass rushers go. You don't let a guy like that out of the building. He said that a couple of years ago, and I'm sure that philosophy is what he stands on right now. So I think this is a great hire. I think that would be a great hire as well. If Patrick Graham comes back, I think that's great as well. But when you talked about the quarterbacks right there, what we're going to do, I loved Spytek's comments about swinging. And
come on.
That's what we talk about all the time here at Raiders Fan Radio. We pound the table that you swing until you hit. And so I think we're going to see what you just talked about in the draft, in free agency. We're going to do both. We could see Justin Fields and Jackson Dart We could see Russell Wilson and we could
Shedeur
see
Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
We could see, one of these other guys and, Jalen Milroe or one of these other guys.
Easy with that.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't like Jalen Milroe at all.
Well, you talked about him last week on the show like you liked him, so that's why I brought him up.
I didn't. Jalen Milroe?
Yeah.
No.
You kept saying Milroe. Were you talking about Dart?
Probably Dart. Did I misspeak again? I don't know. I kind of do that from time to time.
Yeah.
No, I didn't talk about Jalen Milroe that way. No, I don't think he's great at all. He's shown in the Senior Bowl.
Well,
think you
what
did.
if we get him? Then you're gonna. We're rolling this back.
Yeah,
If
we're
we
going to
get-
roll this shit back. We're going to show it to him.
Well, I'll be the biggest fan. I'll get my JM1 tattoo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No,
But-
he's a 4. He's
okay.
going to rock DC.
Yeah, but he's number 1 in my heart, even though he's number 4 in the playbook. Come on, Jeff, keep up. But anyways, Michelle, but like
I think the thing with Pete Carroll, like he does not come back to the NFL unless he feels like there's a solid chance for him to make waves really quickly. So, and I think, him talking about Tom Brady and like all Spy Tech, like they all have, they don't just have to tell you what they think a championship feels like. They know what a champion, they know what it takes to build. They know what they'll need as far as staff that needs to come in. Like that is a place where I don't look into like who might, because then I end up liking somebody and they're not the one. And then I have to learn about somebody else. So I just wait until they hire whoever they're going to hire. But I mean, he doesn't come back unless he feels like he can compete in this division. Cause damn, like it's a heavy division to be in, but he's not afraid. Like he's not afraid of any of those coaches. So that's, I think, a really solid place to be. I don't think they're going to have a problem bringing people in because he's Pete Carroll and Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying not to get excited. Damn it. But it might be too late.
Oh,
Yeah, you're there.
It's too low.
You're there.
It's too late. It's too late.
You know what though? But I don't think you're on your own on that one. And here it was. I mean, again, rewind the clock back, and it was like, wow, this is, I always say thanks to the Raiders for relieving me of the burden of expectation. And I thought, okay, this is miserable. Like we are in a bad place, and we're gonna be in a bad place. And until they do something different, I'm not gonna buy in. Well, 2 months later, here I am bought in again. Like it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's the whole root of. And I understand a lot of people's skepticism, and I don't, no fan policing here. I get it. You don't want to be skeptical of a thing, and you want to be critical of different things. Like at the end of the day, you're going to be right until the Raiders prove you wrong. And that's one thing I always say about critics. It's easy to be a critic because when the team has sucked for the most part for 20 years, yeah, you're all right. So all the different reasons that you can come up with about Mark Davis or who the coach is or who the quarterback is or who the coordinators are, how many fans are in the stadium. You're all right. It's all correct until the Raiders do something to prove it differently. Is this going to be the one that finally pushes them to a different level of success consistently and not just an occasional blip on the radar in 2021 or 2016? I don't know. But it feels pretty good.
Feels like the best shot we've had in a while.
It feels like the best shot we've had in a while. And I think we were all of us, I know for the three of us here in this room, we were blinded by AP's energy. Mm-hmm. I could also just speak for myself on that. We're blinded by that energy. You made a comment to me, Jeff, or maybe it was even in our group chat and you said, or maybe it was you, Michelle, that said this feels so much different than Antonio Pierce because there's substance to it. It's not just rah-rah, which in retrospect, it didn't feel like rah-rah at the time because we saw who Antonio Pierce was firsthand. Like we had an experience with, like we saw that and it was tangible. So it didn't feel like it was rah-rah. But when you look back, you put the rearview mirror on it, it was rah-rah as hell. That's not what this was. This was not that kind of level of energy. And so was it you that said, I think it was you that said that.
I think it was you. Yeah.
Yeah. You were a little kinder in the way I put it. But yeah. I mean, cause that's what it was. And what we saw from Antonio Pierce wasn't his team that he had built. He was running off of other things and plus the emotion of, being interim, all those things. And Yeah, his press conference, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, this is going to be the best season we've ever had. But it was all fluff. It wasn't.
Right.
I mean, and it worked, but this was different. This was someone coming in and saying, not a lot of extra. This is what we're going to do. This is the plan. This is how we're going to do it. And there was no, it was all substance. And that's, I keep using the word comforting. There's got to be a better word for
no, but I feel you on that. But you're right. There
but
is
as
something
Raiders
comforting.
fans, we all have PTSD. Like everybody's on edge because the Raiders can't possibly in our minds because they haven't for so long. So
Amen.
To try to find yourself, to try to put yourself into a place of comfort is like it doesn't feel right. It feels very foreign, and even I'm like, there's some trepidation. Like, I don't want to get too comfortable because am I going to be putting on a clown nose, halfway through the season? But I don't think I will be.
No, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we will either. I think that it's it's such another difference between AP and and Pete Carroll is during the interim time we saw Antonio Pierce go with his gut and we saw the success that he did have. And during this last offseason, he brings in all these other guys that I need Mike. I need these people to tell me what to do. All these mentors and stuff like that. You think Pete Carroll's bringing any of his mentors in? No,
he is.
Pete Carroll is the mentor. He trusts his gut. He's the guy. All that stuff. So I don't think we have to worry about any of that. I think the last several. I feel like. And I can't remember someone in our Made Men chat said I'm so sick and tired of seeing these press conferences and stuff like that. But I think this was the best one that we've seen in a long time, and this is the best hire. And maybe that is the Tom Brady effect, or or combination or whatever. But and I don't know if you want to touch on what Mark Davis said about having Tom Brady in the building, being he filled the void that John Gruden left when he got his head chopped off or whatever he said. I think this is a huge thing. I mean, I don't know if you can really express how important Tom Brady is going to be to this franchise. I mean, I don't know if we get Pete Carroll if we don't have Tom Brady.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's some super chats I want to highlight.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, they'll disappear eventually, and I don't want to miss them.
Okay,
Omar with a $5 donation said, "I was a big critique of Mark, but he learned I never liked any of his hires until now. I hate Tom too, but if he brings us a trophy, all is forgiven."
Nice.
That was Omar.
Awesome. Thank you, Omar.
With a $5?
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Omar.
And then Jordan Ford with a $5 donation. "If you want a good team, you have to be a good teammate." And I think that's something that.
Oh, interesting.
Did Pete Carroll say that? I think maybe. I'm not sure because it's in quotation, so somebody said it.
Okay.
And then let me scroll.
That was Jordan Ford. Thank you, Jordan.
That was
Ford.
Jordan Ford.
Thank you, Jordan.
Hold on, I gotta scroll. Oh no. Golly. Okay, there we go. Pineapple with a $20 donation.
Hey.
Al Davis loved Pete's USC champion. That's how we ended with Lance.
That's
then,
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Raider Lorian with a $5 donation. With the hiring on Pete and PG being rumored to come back, could Pete, being a defensive coach, groom PG to take the reins and then RL take over at DC? That was $5. Raider Lorian, $5.
Very
awesome.
interesting.
Thank you all those super chats. Thank you all. I love that point, and that's one of the things that we talked about with Pete is that he's got to have a succession plan, and I think he knows it. Again, talked about Father Time undefeated, even though he's youthful and whatnot. At a certain point, it's time to stop coaching, and you got to turn it over to somebody. I was gonna ask the question earlier when we got the news that Patrick Graham was odds-on favorite to get the job back again. I was gonna ask the question: is that an indictment of him? Does that mean that he's not getting a offer somewhere else because he didn't want in because Antonio Pierce was on the short leash and he was like, "I'm out of here." Even before the whole AP thing happened, he was like, "I'm out." He got offered to get extended and he was like, "Nope, no, I'm good. I'm going to go try elsewhere." So I was going to ask the question, is it was he an undesirable candidate being that now that he's coming back? Well, that scenario that just got lined out there, maybe he's coming back because the Raiders and or Pete Carroll or whoever told him, "You've got a shot to take the helm when Pete retires for good in 3 or 4 years." That's a very interesting idea there, and going to be very interesting to see the way that plays out, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, I mean, I know Patrick Graham, what he interviewed in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, you know, I think, and
better him than, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Better him than Gus Bradley.
100%. Oh,
God dang,
give me
Gus Bradley fucking mile away from
100%. I couldn't agree more. But, you know, but I think this is the Max Crosby effect, man. I'm telling you, I think they are going to do whatever they can. And they're probably, I mean, I don't know how because I know Max Crosby says he's not going to be as vocal this time about hirings and stuff like that. But like, they want to keep
maybe not
their
openly.
guy.
Openly, right.
Yeah, but they want to keep their guy. You know, I mean, I really do. And so, you know, so if they reach out to him and go, hey, what do you think about PG coming back? Deal. Sign me up for it.
Yeah.
And bring Rob Leonard too. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I think if you have Patrick Graham under the helm of Pete Carroll for a few years and learn under that, I think that's a very attractive candidate to take over for head coach.
Yeah, I like Patrick Graham, and I think it fell off a little because of all the injuries. Like,
Yes,
I mean,
that's
so
true.
when everybody's healthy and with Pete Carroll at the helm, like, it just really feels like something that could be really, really, really special.
I mean, other than Marshawn and Russ, what was the signature of the peak Seahawks? Was the Legion of Boom, man.
Yeah.
It was defense.
Yeah.
It was not only the Legion of Boom, it was Michael Bennett, right? It was like, I mean, they had a freaking dominant ass defense, you know what? And as much as we get enamored and I think at times blinded, what?
Yeah, I hear it too.
It's like a little buzz. It's okay.
What's going on? At times blinded by the mobility of quarterbacks nowadays and the explosiveness of offense and all that kind of stuff. All you got to do is look at the two teams that are in the Super Bowl again this year. And what is one of the big things, or two of the big things that they do best? They run the shit out of the football and they play the shit out of defense. And you could have the greatest modern day quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, but he is not that without a running game. Like at the end, like it's just not. And he's not that without that defense. That defense is ridiculous. We're going to talk about the Chiefs in a minute because we're going to talk about calls and all the other bullshit that's happened this week. But that's it. Look at what the Eagles are. Look at the different dynamic when you had Saquon. You have a dynamic and a great quarterback in Jalen Hurts, but look at what they look like now. They have that by far the signatures of that team are defense and running the shit out of the football. Like that's it. So all that said, if we can return that, okay, Ashton Genty and a healthy freaking Raider defense, like all day long, man.
Yep,
all
100%.
day long. All right, it's time for a break.
Yeah, let's hit a break.
Okay, hit a break.
Hi, this is AJ Cole from the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Just win, baby.
Hey Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
All right, we talked a little bit about the press conference. We talked about Darrell Bevell and what this staff is going to look like. And so I don't want to like get in the weeds on this thing, but let's talk a little bit about this past weekend because it's relevant because I think it's an interesting sports conversation for all of us to have, but I think that it's also interesting because it definitely impacts the future success of the Raiders. Like it just does. I mean, there's no way around it. I don't think the NFL is rigged. I don't think that's a such thing. But I do have a full awareness that this is a league that is determined for globalization. And the world's biggest pop star is affiliated with the team that's the quote, the golden boys of the NFL currently. Now, listen, there's no sweet Missouri money that's feeding the NFL. So it's not like you're trying to pump a market like LA or New York or Chicago or whatever else. So but I do think that the NFL tends to take advantage of a thing that's going well and they will exploit it. And I think that that's what we are in the middle of. We've got a lot of rules in this league that are open to interpretation. You've got a lot of things that are basically can be determined by one individual, could be overridden by another individual, and they're all subjective. And then the lack of technology that is involved as well. And it leads us to where we're at today with this current version of the Chiefs and the NFL. I've never been more disappointed in watching a football game that didn't involve the Raiders than I was this past Sunday. It was absolutely mind-boggling, the inefficiency and the inconsistency and the inability of the officiating crew to get it right. So everyone that's on Twitter, social media, everywhere else, everyone is saying the same thing except Chiefs fans. They're the only ones that are like, well, no, because this number or this stat or this thing or that thing. It's all bullshit. Like, whatever the thing is, the NFL has to fix it, because I feel like there's an integrity problem. There's an integrity being the question. The NFL's integrity at this point, Jeff, is becoming questioned. And that is a failure of a multi-billion-dollar global organization. The fact that the officials aren't even full-time blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. And they've got to get this right. And so it's not only, so there's, and we'll get to the whole boycott thing in a minute, but I want to ask you about what your experience was watching this game. And then also too, and here's where I'm going to keep it Raider related. We have historically been on the ass end of these types of things. We've never, not never, but rarely get favoritism when it comes to officiating. But as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friends. Now Tom Brady's involved.
Yep.
Now Pete Carroll's involved.
Yep.
Does that finally shift the positivity towards the Raiders? But touch on the Chiefs bullshit and then talk about how it might relate to the Raiders.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think it's like a scripted thing. I've seen so many people on the X, on Facebook, on Instagram talk about how, this is another script, man. They just want the Chiefs on top. I don't think there's a script, but I do think they want the Chiefs on top. Yeah. I mean, like you said, the global sensation that Taylor Swift is coming in, and, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, like, I get that they're the golden boys of the league. They want them to be on top. But I think, like you said, I think we're going to see a major shift in the way that the Raiders are treated. For the last 40 some odd years, the Raiders have been the villains of the NFL. They sued the league and all this stuff. Al was the bad guy and all this kind of stuff. Well, now they've got their old baby face. The league's got their former golden boy leading the silver and black. And so I really think that, they're going to take it easy on us a little bit. Maybe, and I don't know to go as far as saying they're going to give us the favorable calls, but I think it'll be a bit more of an even playing field on a lot of that stuff. And then, you add Pete Carroll, who is just cherished by the league. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot going with that.
Well, I want to set you up like this, because I think that there's even subconsciously, because there's a human element there, right? So I think that even subconsciously, it's fair to assess that if Al Davis is the villain and the Raiders are the villains, and he's suing the league, and you are an official of said league, are you going to take, even subconsciously, an unfavorable stance against team? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I almost kind of get like, I don't think it's an overarching, like, okay, I'm going to swear again. Here's how we're going to fuck the Raiders today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's ever part of the memo.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a spirit that takes over. And so does that change now that it's Tom, it's Pete? Like, okay.
I think it depends
They're cool.
on who we're playing and what it means for their grand story. And I don't think it's scripted either. I just think there's too many moving parts for anything to be rigged, for anything to be scripted. But I do think refs can put their thumb on the scale. Clearly, we saw it happen a few times, and so they can push their point. But at the same time, it's like, why do teams that look so dominant barely squeak close to beating this team? Like, if you want to not be a part of that narrative, you have to blow this team out. Like why can't they? What is the problem when you look like a really dominant team the week before and then you go in to play the Chiefs and it's like this was the first time y'all met? I don't understand. Like why is that so hard to really dominate the game? That's the only way you're going to beat the Chiefs without the refs putting their thumb on the scale, if that's what's happening. You know, like it just is such a weird scenario because it happens a lot with a lot of really good teams. I don't know.
I agree. And I think that's a really key point is that when we rewind the clock and you look at take the 49ers of the late 80s as an example. They beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl 55-10. Yeah. They beat the shit out of everybody. And the Chiefs fans that are like, oh, well, just respect the greatness, or even media. It's not even Chiefs fans. There's a lot of national media that's like, oh, you need to respect the greatness, and you don't realize what you're watching, and you don't realize it. No, some bitch, I know exactly what I'm watching. And it's squeaking by, and a lot of it comes on the whistle or the lack of a flag or a flag that shouldn't be there to begin with. I know what I'm seeing. Don't tell me that I need to respect the greatness because I'm not watching greatness. I'm not watching Joe Montana dice up the goddamn Bengals. I'm not watching Tom Brady dice up the Carolina Panthers or the St. Louis Rams. That's not what we're watching. Yeah. We're watching a team struggle, and then, miraculously, a call happens that's favorable to them and not the other team. That's a whole different level of what we're watching. And I think it's ridiculous. It's not fun to watch. And that's where so let's get in the boycott thing real quick. I'm 52 years old. I cannot remember the last time I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I remember distinctly the first time I remember sitting down and watching the entirety of a Super Bowl was the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1979 against the Los Angeles Rams. I remember that. I remember Jack Youngblood. I remember Terry Bradshaw. I remember it very vividly. I was 6 years old. I've never missed a Super Bowl. I am the guy that used to record on VHS Super NFL films, Super Bowl highlight videos, and watch them incessantly because guys like freaking Hank Stram, Keep It With the Raiders, John Madden, Tom Flores, Al Davis, Black Sunday. We're going to watch that coming up here in a couple of weeks. Those things were so formative to my football fandom. This is the first time. I'm not interested. I don't give a shit about the halftime show. Sorry, Kendrick Lamar fans.
I'm excited about that.
Okay,
I love him.
You go for that. Well, fine. But he's not that's not a wide, like an artist is going to appeal to a wide group of people. I don't think. Well, maybe it will. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
he's pretty popular.
He's pretty
popular. Maybe I'm the old man in the room.
I was gonna say,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
And I'll own that. But it's not interesting to me. The goddamn Kelsey family is not interesting to me. Taylor Swift is not interesting to me. The commercials have gotten increasingly lame. This thing is going to be a big pile of shit on 2 Sundays from now. I'm not interested in it. I'm not going to watch it. I've even bet on it. And you know what? I'm going to follow it on BetMGM while I'm watching a movie or playing a game with my wife. I'm not watching this damn game. First time ever. And I don't think that's entirely get off my lawn. Maybe there's a portion of that. And if there is, again, I will own it. But there is nothing about this game that I feel compelled to watch unless Jalen Hurts and frickin' Saquon Barkley run their frickin' asses off and beat the shit out of this team. That would be interesting to me. But the odds of that, Jeff, happening are very slim to none.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm with you. And I don't think that's a get off my lawn kind of thing because I'm not watching either. Mm-hmm. I'm not watching either. You know, I'm so sick of because I feel like we saw this game a couple years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, well,
we saw the exact
verbatim
game.
Yeah. Minus
Saquon, but like you said, the convenient time of the late penalty or whatever. Like that's how the Chiefs won that last time was they called a clean game the entire game. And then with 1:48 left on the clock or whatever it was, calls a defensive holding call at the end of the game that cost the Eagles the championship. And, there goes the Chiefs riding off into the sunset with the Super Bowl win. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I personally am not, I'm not familiar with Kendrick Lamar. I'm sure he's great, but not enough to watch it. I will tune in and watch ESPN just watch the score. And if it looks like Philly is running the score up, I'll tune in.
Yeah.
Because then I'll want to see the Chiefs get their ass whipped.
Yeah.
But if it looks like
by
it's
20, then I might check it out.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I'm not watching.
Yeah, we're not watching it either. We're gonna watch the Puppy Bowl because
Nice.
That's a solid, fun, not worried about my blood pressure kind of. Yeah, because they already fucked up my Christmas with that stupid Hallmark movie. Now they're about to fuck up, the Super Bowl, which, and I think that's the story that they want to tell is the three-peat, because it's never been done before.
Gosh.
So that's like the thing. That's what they're pushing for because that's it's something that's never been done. And I think majority of people do not give a shit about seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. And I think a lot of people aren't going to tune in. I do want to see Kendrick because I am a huge Kendrick fan.
Okay.
But he's from LA. So
okay. That makes sense.
But no, I love West Coast rappers. But anyway, yeah, I want to see that, but we will not be watching it unless the Eagles are kicking their ass, and then I will absolutely be tuning in.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it has to be
on.
by a lot because if it's a little, they're gonna.
Oh, if it's a 10-point lead, they're gonna figure out how to do it.
Right.
It's got to be like a 21-point lead or something like that.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know, chat room. Can't keep up with the chat room during the show there, but I always love to dive back in. And,
you want me to shout them out?
Hell yeah, shout them out.
Absolutely, man. So Jordan Ford in there, Greg Lira in there, Brent Sterling, Desjarda, Martin.
Oh, that's Rev Raider, Brent Sterling. What's up, Rev?
Oh, nice.
Dude, he hasn't called in a hot minute.
Wow.
Call the show, Rev.
Call.
Miss you hearing your calls, bro.
Absolutely, man. Tide Raider, Brave Raider, Rodrigo Benjaro in there, SoCal Sal,
Sal.
Ray Too Real, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Ron the Mater Raider, Raider Junkie Cisco in there, Rogue Code, Raider Rick, let's see, Corey Fleck, Desert Raider, Martin in there.
Martin.
Yeah, Raider Dank Vader. Man, we got the whole crew,
That's
dude.
awesome, man. Right on. So can't wait to catch up with you, chat room, and hear what you've got to say, not only about the hires, the press conference, but absolutely this upcoming Super Bowl. We are, though, I will tell you this, a little housekeeping note for those of you that are interested. We always do a Super Bowl protest show, especially, well, anytime the Raiders aren't in it, but especially when that one team that wears ketchup and mustard colored uniforms is in it. And so this year we're going to do our Super Bowl protest show is going to be on Sunday morning of the Super Bowl. We'll figure out what time, y'all. We'll work that out. But we're going to watch Black Sunday because this was the 41st anniversary of Black Sunday, just going back to last week. So I know we've done Black Sunday before, but we're going to do Black Sunday again because you can never do Black Sunday enough.
There you go.
So definitely check out us here at Raiders Fan Radio. We'll be probably, what do you think, guys? 10 a.m.? 10
I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
That's a long run for you, Michelle.
Early, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 11.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. But anyways, we're going to watch Black Sunday, and so watch it with us. It'll be definitely a fun time. Always reliving Raiders highlights for
Heck
sure.
yeah.
And so speaking of Raiders highlights.
Hey, nice segue.
That's what
it's like you're a professional or something.
We're in the biz.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, sure. It's in the fan biz. But go ahead and hit us, break swag, Jeff. And then we're going to talk about, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the top 10 Raiders, right? Because we had the list that Fox Sports put about the top 10 Raiders. But then we're going to extend that conversation into our personal top 10 Raiders. And so chat room, get your lists ready. Let's hit a break swag, Jeff, and then let's talk about our favorite Raiders of all time.
He enjoyed a good Donnybrook, more than sixth-year linebacker.
Speaking of favorite Raiders,
come on.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
Patrick Claybon with NFL Network here. Hey folks, I know 3 things you might like. Do you like football? Do you like the Las Vegas Raiders? Do you like listening to things? I'll add a 4th. Do you like swag? Well, here we got Swag Jeff, Murf, Uncle Mosh. This is Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, we got Raider Nation. We appreciate you joining us live so very, very much. Everybody that's in the chat room tonight, everybody that's listening on the audio podcast. I forgot to shout out the audio podcast earlier. You can find us on any audio podcast service just by searching for Raiders Fan Radio. That's Raiders Fan Radio on.
I thought you were about to go. That's R.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. No.
do that shit that you do.
No, that'd be too long.
Pause.
Yes, you did. Oh my gosh, I wish I had the record scratch thing. I gotta get better. I gotta get better with these buttons. Yeah.
Pause.
How about this? There's 90 people associated with the team that just got put out on the field. 88 of them can lick my whole butthole.
Let's go. Let's go, Mojo.
That's how we feel about the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. So last couple weeks ago, we talked about our favorite, slow it down. We talked about the top 10 Raiders of all time. And based on that Fox Sports list, and it was very hard because you had to, just stop. I know. I see you locking and loading over there.
I looked over to see if she caught it.
I was trying to not make eye contact.
It was a challenge. I have to think about everything that's. I almost said I have to think about everything that comes out of my mouth, but I didn't say that.
Oh, that would have been epic.
Okay. I have to think about everything that I say, and it's a challenge to not get paused by you. So, Raiders' top 10 of all time was released by Fox Sports, and it was a challenge because you had to take a name off the list and then put another name in there that you would have liked to have seen. Okay,
sure.
It was a great list. It was based on talent, based on on-field performance, all that.
Heck yeah.
But Michelle had a great idea to do our personal top 10. Like, who are just
based on vibes.
Just based on vibes. Who do we love as Raiders? So since it was your idea, Michelle, why don't you do us the honors to kick it off? Now, I've got some honorable mentions.
Okay, I do too.
And so did Jeff.
Yeah,
okay.
I do too. Yeah.
So let's go through our honorable mentions first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to the top 10 list. So go ahead and start with yours.
So my honorable mentions, I picked controversial, like most people wouldn't, but they were special to me.
Sure.
Okay.
My first was Michael Crabtree.
Oh,
just because
nice.
there was a solid amount of time where he just really made Raiders football fun. And I remember that one game where they kept throwing to the corner, or Derek Carr kept throwing to the corner of the end zone.
Against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I was at a live music show, Third and Lindsley, and someone knew I was a Raiders fan, and they have one TV in the very back, and they were telling me what was going on. So I ran to the back to watch the game, and so I just really liked him as a Raider. So that was my first.
That's cool. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to do all of them?
Yeah, run them.
Okay, my second one, which is controversial, is Jerry Rice. And I know, so my dad,
no judgment.
My dad was a California team fan. He was not like an only Raiders fan. So he loved, if you were a California, except he wasn't a Chargers fan, but he's a good man. So he loved the 49ers. And I remember watching Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. And so I was really excited when he came to the Raiders. So that's my other honorable mention.
Okay.
And then I have a third one.
Okay.
And then I'll get to my top 10. Phil Villapiano's
Come on.
because he's just so, when I finally got to meet him in person, he's just so damn funny, naturally funny. And so he was my third honorable mention.
Okay.
And you would be on his top 10 Raider fan list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Villapiano loves some Michelle.
Yes, he did.
He loves some Michelle.
He did. He's precious. He's precious.
Yeah, he is.
Go ahead. You go next, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Do your honorables.
My honorables. I've got. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I've got 6, and I'll go.
I've got 10.
You have 10 honorable mentions.
I've got 6 honorable mentions.
I tried to keep mine. I didn't know.
Well, you're better.
Well, I didn't know
You're
we were
better
doing
than
all
us.
that.
Yeah. It was tough for me for sure. So my honorable mentions. I've got Art Shell.
Okay, that's a good
that's
honorable
fine.
mention.
You know,
he didn't like you. You're not on his honorable mentions.
Hell no. I'm on the fuck that guy list. Art Shell.
Yeah, you are. We got to share that picture sometime.
Oh, nice.
No one's ever been less thrilled for a selfie than Art Shell was with you.
I don't even think he knew what a selfie was. Let's see. Willie Brown.
Oh, nice.
Greg Townsend.
Oh, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Good pull, man.
Yeah. Lester Hayes.
Oh, solid.
Solid.
Bo Jackson.
Okay.
And Phil Villapiano.
And Phil.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Phil.
All right. So those are your honorables. All right. Nicely done. What's interesting because Phil is not on my honorables.
Oh.
Because he's in
on
my
your
top
10.
10.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So
understandable.
my honorable mentions are Otis Sistrunk.
Mm-hmm.
Shout
Okay.
out the man from Mars. Dave Casper.
Okay.
It's funny. There's definitely a theme with mine. It's pretty much everybody that, well, for the most part, guys that played in the early and late 70s. Dave Casper, Hall of Famer, Ted Hendricks, kick him in the head, Ted, the Mad Stork, came to freaking, a training camp practice on a horse, for crying out loud. Also in the Hall of Fame. Ray Guy, the only punter in the Hall of Fame.
Dude.
Yeah.
Ray
Good
Guy,
call.
and partial savior to the freaking Super Bowl, speaking of January 22nd, 1984, when I believe it was Todd Christensen that snaps the ball over his head, and Ray Guy uses all of that lanky frame to jump up there and grab that ball. You can definitely tell he was a wide receiver in college. So shout out Ray Guy. Jim Otto is on the honorable mentions list.
Okay.
Jim Otto probably should be in a top 10. Because
it's hard to do 10.
It's hard to do 10.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hard to do 10. Then I've got Cliff Branch is in my honorable mentions.
Okay. Wow.
Cliff
okay.
Branch for sure. And then Howie. Howie's in my honorables.
Okay.
Because
interesting.
Because you guys know me. I'm where I'm going to go with my top 10.
Yeah.
But Howie out there absolutely defined the Raiders of the 90s for the most part. And still defines a lot of the Raiders and still owns his Raiders. And another thing I thought about on this list too is that I like guys that were Raiders. And I know that Kenny got traded and was an Oiler, and so did, Jack Tatum and whatever, and even Casper. Those guys, they weren't, lifetime Raiders per se, but the guys that were the majority of their career was defined by the Raiders. That kind of shifted a little bit of my thinking on this. All right, so let's go your bottom three, Michelle. Let's go threes and threes.
So mine aren't in any particular order. So I'm gonna see. Okay, so my bottom three, Max Crosby.
Oh, you got Max?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
I picked from current because it was hard to pick from current.
Sure.
So he's like that. And then
that's solid though.
Seabass, Janikowski.
Oh,
he's on my top 10.
That's solid.
And then Ken Stabler. Those are my bottom three.
Your bottom three.
Those
okay.
are my bottom three. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go threes around and then we'll do our top.
Okay.
But I love that you put Sebastian Janikowski on there.
I loved him.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
That's so funny. You put so my 10 is Max Crosby.
Oh,
really? Okay.
My 10 is Max Crosby as well. But I've got down here at 9, and Michelle might kick my ass for this, but I've got Charles Woodson at number 9.
9. Oh,
I've got Charles Woodson at 9, and I've got Howie at 8.
Straight to jail.
Okay.
I've got Howie at 8.
Okay.
Those are my bottom 3 in my top 10.
All right. Love it. Love it. So mine are, my number, these are about in order. I've got, number 10, I've got John Matuzak.
Okay.
John Matuzak, man, again, epitomize what the Raiders were, the spirit of the Raiders, that craziness, the irrational nature of the Raiders. It's just, I think that he personified it tremendously. Then I've got Phil. I got Foo in there. You can't get a better ambassador for the Raiders than Phil, since Willie Brown died anyways. Rest in peace to Willie. But Phil is just the ultimate storyteller, not only within Raider Nation, but just sports. He's just so damn funny. And what I love about Phil, not only was he a great player, because let's not skip that part of it. He was a great player. But one of the things I love about Phil is that he's not trying to be funny.
No.
He just is.
He's
just
naturally.
Phil's being Phil, and it's freaking entertaining as hell, and just such a great guy. So, so I got Matuzak, I got Phil, and then I've got Big Ben Davidson.
Okay.
Big Ben was one of the very first. Again, I'm older than you guys, but Ben was one of the first guys to define what it was to be a Raider early on. You had Jim Otto, but then you had Ben Davidson on defense. There's the reason that there's roughing the passer in the NFL is because of Ben Davidson. That guy was an absolute monster on defense, completely outsized based on the era that he played in. He was a literal monster in the time of which he played, like a giant, I should say, not a monster, a giant in the time that which he played. And so I think that Ben Davidson, I don't celebrate him enough in terms of being a fan, but from the persona, from the handlebar mustaches to the Miller Lite commercials to the sticking his helmet and Len Dawson's back, man. Ben Davidson, I think was an incredible Raider. So he's my number 7.
Okay, so my number 7, because we're doing 7, 6, 5, right? Or
Yeah.
what are we doing? Okay,
Yeah, so do 3 more. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Howie Long. is my
Howie, nice.
next one down. My dad loved Howie Long, and so I remember watching him also with my dad. And Rod Martin is my next one.
Solid.
That's my guy.
That's your
my
guy.
bestie.
Solid.
Should have been the MVP of Super Bowl 15.
He was robbed.
Robbed.
Gave it to that other guy.
And then my next one down is Fred Biletnikoff, because I just obviously incredible player, but man, what a freaking incredible dude.
Yeah.
So
Incredible dude.
that's my next one.
Well, and I think that's fair on this type of a list. It's fair to take in your own personal
mine is completely on
connectivity
vibes.
to like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Like,
my whole list is yeah.
So my number 7 goes to Marcus Allen.
Okay.
Good.
Marcus Allen at
nice.
7, you know. My number 6, which was on your honorable mention, my 6 is Cliff Branch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cliff
Absolutely.
Branch. Yep. And then 5 for me is Mr. Raider himself, Timmy Brown.
Timmy Brown.
There you
Nicely
go.
done. Okay. All right. All right. So I've got next up. So I've got, this is my number 7.
Mm-hmm.
I got Daryl LaMonica.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can't not have Daryl on. I mean, again,
Nope.
to go back to the personal connections.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure we were the last. And geez, I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out, but we don't have the
But
footage.
it's on site if I see him.
100% because it's
Yeah.
And I mean that jokingly, but like, or not Michelle, but it's a shame that we don't have the footage because I'm pretty sure we were the last ones to interview Daryl LaMonica about being a Raider. And that was 3 months before he passed. Jeff, is that right?
Yes.
And what an absolutely incredible guy he was. Not only was he ahead of his time as a player and the things that he and Warren Wells and Art Powell and those guys did on the field, but who he was as a man. I mean, one of the most intimidating, in a good way, intense people I'd ever been around. When we're sitting there interviewing him and he's talking about, you know, the old days of being with the Raiders and the training and all the things that they did to dedicate to their greatness. And Michelle, he's grabbed onto my arm and he's like squeezing my arm like this as he's talking to me. And I'm just like, I'm so locked in. I'm like, I can't break eye contact with this man because I might die. You know what I mean? Like, he was that intense, but friendly.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't like, I don't mean it intimidating, like he was jerky or like I was scared. It was like, it was intimidating because his presence, and he was an old man at the time. God dang, Daryl LaMonica was just a freaking legend. So anyways, I got Daryl LaMonica on there. Next up, I got Marcus Allen. Running with the Night, freaking, you know what I mean? You can't get any better than that. You know, speaking of Black Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, it's Marcus is underrated in terms of what he meant to this Raiders organization. And I know that he became a Chief, and I mentioned that, you know, earlier about like, I looked for guys that spend a majority of their career with the Raiders. And I know that whole thing happened with the Chiefs, but that wasn't Marcus's fault.
Right.
That was Al's shit.
Yeah.
That wasn't Marcus shit. So I gave him a little bit of a pass on that. Love Marcus. And then next up, I got Willie Brown, man. Old man Willie. Like, I mean, you can't, again, ambassador for the Raiders. No one personified and represented the Raiders maybe ever better than Willie Brown did. Like, he is the ultimate spokesperson for what it is to be a Raider. Not only did he have a Hall of Fame career with the Raiders, he had a coaching career with the Raiders. He continued to be an ambassador for the Raiders all the way up until the day that he passed away, let alone what he did on draft day, celebrating the moms, right? And started that whole tradition. I love, talk about a sweet guy. I just love Willie Brown, man. So, and rest in peace. All right.
All right.
Go.
So the top 3.
Let's go 4-3-2. Yeah. And then save your number 1.
Save number 1.
Oh, I must have left off one because 1, 2. Oh, I only had 9. My bad.
We'll add in one of your honorable mentions.
I guess move Phil Villapiano to
there you
my
go.
top 10. So,
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm just going to do 2 then, and then I think everybody already knows my number 1.
Yeah.
But,
well, we do for sure. Yeah.
Tim Brown is my number 3.
Okay.
And then Marcus Allen is my number 2. And
your
then,
LA Raider is showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yeah. And of course.
Don't say your number 1 yet.
Okay,
Save
well,
it.
okay.
Save it.
Everybody.
We already know who it is.
I mean,
but
We know who it is.
we
but
know
save
who it is, but save it.
Yeah. All right. So my number 4 goes to Gene Upshaw.
Nice,
Yep,
dude.
100%.
Nice.
I mean, totally epitomized what it meant to be a Raider and all that stuff. He's the only player to win Super Bowls in 3, or go to Super Bowls in 3 different decades, especially for the same team. So much respect to Gene Upshaw. And then, you know, with the Players Association and all the work that he did after his
100%.
career and all that. I mean, just an absolute stalwart of the league. Yeah, for sure. My number 3 is Ken Stabler, Snake.
There you go.
You know, 100%. And then my number 2 is Fred Biletnikoff.
Okay,
For all the reasons that
Yeah.
you said, on your list as well. Just, an incredible man on the field and an even better man off the field. Fred Biletnikoff, he's one of the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not going to say we're not list policing anybody here.
Okay.
I'm not list bullying or list judging either one of you.
Okay.
But the fact that neither one of you had Jack Tatum anywhere on your list,
wow, yeah,
I'm disappointed because
Okay.
Jack Tatum.
I wouldn't have put him on my list anyway.
Oh, damn my shit.
Damn.
Jack,
Told your ass.
Hell yeah, she did. Jack Tatum, what I talked about, what Ben Davidson did in the 60s, Jack Tatum did in the 70s. He was the identity of the Raiders defense and as amongst titans of freaking players. And I don't not mean that by team. I mean that by
I wasn't old enough to remember him.
And I think that's where there's a little bit of bias there on my part, being that I'm an older guy, because Tatum was so dominant in the things that, again, another guy like Ben Davidson, they made rules because he played. Like that level of intensity into what he brought and the identity of that Raider. You don't get Phil's physicality on defense without Jack Tatum. You don't get George Atkinson without Jack Tatum. You don't get a lot of that physicality that won a Super Bowl for that Raiders team in the 70s. You don't get that identity without Jack Tatum. He was the absolute hallmark for what it was to be a badass in the NFL.
That's true.
And that forever.
You're 100% right.
Still
Yeah.
to this day.
I was about to say, speaking of Pete Carroll, I mean, I feel like the Legion of Boom was.
You don't get Cam Chancellor without freaking Jack Tatum, dude.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, you don't get, Palamalu without Jack Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. Jack Tatum was so dominant and so aggressive and just fun as shit, man, to watch. And even though like I was a young guy at the time that in his Raider career, I remember it vividly. And all you got to do is just go back and watch some highlights, man. Watch the highlights of of Super Bowl 11 and watch him freaking lay out. I think it's Sammy Washington over the middle. Watch what he does. You know what? And he after he blows
Stands
the guy
over
up and stands over him and then throws his hands down. God.
Amazing.
Boss. Just a freaking boss. Anyways, Jack Tatum. Number 3, I got Freddie B.
Okay,
for all the reasons you guys cited.
Come on.
Just a gem of a human being. And oh yeah, by the way, he's in the Hall of Fame, and there's an award in college named after the guy for the best wide receiver. Like he defined what it was to run routes. In the NFL at the time. And then Upshaw is my number 2. Upshaw, again, defined what it was to be a leader. I think that a lot of people look back at those Raiders teams of the 70s, and you look at Stabler, and you look at at Freddie B, you look at Upshaw. Upshaw was the guy. Those guys will tell you that Upshaw was the leader in the locker room. You know what I mean? And Upshaw, I think, when it look at what the greatness of that offensive line was, it started and stopped with him. And Art Shell is not Art Shell without Gene Upshaw. You know what I'm saying? Like Gene Upshaw was just an absolute, not only a spectacular athlete, but again, a great, great man taken from us way too soon. And so I got him as number 1. All right. As number 2. I'm going to go in reverse order because I want to end with you. Okay.
Also, can I add Lyle
please.
Alzado to my
hell yeah, you can.
Honorable
mentions? Yeah, someone in the comment section mentioned him, and I forgot all about him. I loved him. I loved watching him too.
3 Mile Aisle, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so we'll go in reverse order because I know what yours is, and I think mine. Anybody that's paid attention to this show long enough is obvious. My first one is Kenny Stabler. I mean,
of course it is.
Studying the freaking playbook by the jukebox light, everything that guy embodied, and not only was such a great player for so long, but where Jack Tatum was the intensity and the aggressive and the hardcore, Kenny was the easygoing, everything's cool, I've got this, sleep for 3 hours and then go freaking win a football game. Like John Madden said at his induction ceremony to the Hall of Fame for Kenny, is that he said, if I had to trust one person to throw a pass to win a game, it's Kenny Stabler. And this is John Madden was in love with Brett Favre and Steve Young and a lot of great NFL, Hall of Famers. But Kenny was his guy. And it was because Kenny was clutch. And Kenny was more than even Darryl LaMonica, the most clutch player we have ever had play quarterback in this league. And that's where guys that are, again, I'll just own my age. When you're old enough to remember what that was like, it's hard to embrace players that like Derek and some of these others. And I get into these conversations with people on social media because I don't think they understand the context of it. That like Kenny was great when he had to be. Great players aren't always great, but they're always great when they have to be. You don't get to see a hands without Kenny freaking Stabler, man. Like you don't get Fred Biletnikoff as a Super Bowl MVP without Kenny freaking Stabler. You established the things that we celebrate about the Raiders today was started by guys like Tatum and Davidson, and especially offensively by Kenny Stabler. And we haven't had an identity at quarterback like that since him. That tells you how great he was. And I would even argue that many other teams haven't had an identity at quarterback since then. It's like what Kenny was. Like, I mean, he's a one of one. There's there's no argument about it. And I know I'm biased, but Kenny was an absolute original, and again, rest in peace. But man, I hope one of these days we can find someone else that can personify playing quarterback, even 80% of what Kenny Stabler did. We'd be in really good hands.
Paul wants to know, where's Mike Haynes on your list?
That's different. That's
a man crush.
That's a man crush. That's not like a favorite Raider. That's like a favorite human.
Oh, that's different. That's different.
That's different. Outside
different.
my wife,
You're
my
different,
kids,
all right.
my wife, my kids, you two, Uncle Mosh. Like, I think Mike Haynes is right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Mike and I are both married, because if we weren't, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely,
I
man.
might ask him out.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Hey. Oh, never mind.
I love how far that went. I just love how
Went
far that went.
Yeah, it went real far.
Hey, give me a joke and I'll play it all the way. I'm going to see that
Well,
thing.
I don't think it was a joke, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
That is true,
That's
too.
right. I'm all the way across the goal
It's
line.
okay, though.
That's right.
It's
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So
We
my
We're
listen
talking
and we
about
don't judge.
Brandon Boyd
That's
and
right.
Mike Haynes. There we go.
There you go.
Those are the two.
That's right. Those are
Those are my-
solid.
those are my top two.
That's a solid top two, though, honestly.
Your hall pass
That's a
list.
solid. That is a solid top two. I'm
Forget
not even gonna
Scarlett
lie.
Johansson and Jessica Biel, man.
No, it's not.
No.
No, forget all that. It's Mike Haynes, bro. Absolutely. Absolutely. So my number one is it's
We're
gonna
gonna
go.
end up canceled at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
It's
okay.
okay. It'll be worth
It's 2025.
It'll be
man.
worth.
You-
That's
you-
right.
You live your life.
That's absolutely right.
You live your damn
Yeah.
life, bro.
Okay. All right.
Do you?
Live your truth.
Yeah. And that's his truth. He's living it. He's living that shit. So my number one Raider on my list is the guy that he invented what it meant to be a quarterback. Invented what it meant.
Oh, come on,
the
dude.
guy
I
that
love it. I
did
love
this 40, 50 years before we see the likes of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys that are doing it now. This guy did it first, and he did it in an era that no one did it then. It was a running league. It was a smash mouth league, and this guy knew how to light it up, let it fly, all that stuff, and he threw it to the likes of Warren Wells and Fred Biletnikoff, who is number 2 on my list. So number 2 is the receiver. Number 1 is the quarterback. Give me the Mad Bomber. Give me Daryl LaMonica all day long, bro.
Bro, let's go.
Solid. That's a solid number 1.
Not to mention that he was the nicest man that ever walked the earth.
Was
my favorite, and
Do it. Say
and
it.
I didn't even have a whole lot of conversation with him. We shared pleasantries and all that stuff. My favorite moment of Daryl LaMonica was standing there and watching Daryl LaMonica and our Uncle Mosh talk about fishing.
Yeah.
It was just to watch them and I took a picture. I'll post it on social media.
Please
do.
do.
There's a picture of him and Uncle Mosh talking, and like Daryl's got his hands like right here at Uncle Mosh's head and stuff, and they're just talking like just the intensity of the two of them. It was just unbelievable,
Because he was Kenny was my childhood hero.
Yeah.
Right? Daryl LaMonica was Uncle Mosh's childhood hero.
Yes.
1967 Super Bowl. Mosh's, what is he? He was born in, close to it anyways. No, yeah, because he was born in 60. He was 7 years old.
He was born in the 50s.
Oh, 58, excuse me.
Yeah.
So he was 9.
Yeah.
60 was, the Raiders were born in 60. I confuse those things a lot. Anyways,
You confused Uncle Mosh and the Raiders.
yeah, their birth years.
That's all right.
Yeah. So no, he's born in 58. So so he was 9 years old, and Darryl LaMonica was the starting quarterback for the Raiders in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was his guy.
yeah.
That was his guy.
That was his guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Good one, Jeff.
And here we are, 2025. He's my guy too.
That's beautiful, man.
That's beautiful. Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice.
Michelle, who you got?
Lots of simple
Well,
lines intertwined.
We all know who you got. But
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Charles Woodson is
Come on.
my number one. He just epitomizes Raiders to me because I mean, obviously he repped Oakland so hard. And I know I went to Green Bay and I hated that, but he just is a Raiders to me. So he'll always be my favorite.
Absolutely. I mean, not only great player. I mean, the only thing about Charles that it's not commentary on you having him there, obviously. But
she's about to throw hands.
No,
You better
I mean-
watch your words.
No.
Watch your words, bro.
No, I mean this genuinely. He won a Super Bowl and Defensive Player in the year of the year in green and gold.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Oh, it hurts. I hate
that
it. Yeah.
hurts, man.
Yeah.
That hurts. And the idea of like what happened in that Super Bowl against the Buccaneers with stupid Bill Callahan and all that. It's because that jacked up partially of what his legacy was going to be with the Raiders. Like, how cool would it have been for us to say like Super Bowl champion Charles Woodson for the Oakland Raiders, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So it's not it's nothing he did.
Yeah.
But it's just the way that the circumstances played out, man. Like that was, geez, what a drag, man. And what I would have loved, I think one of the biggest like what ifs to me as a fan, I would have loved to have seen him and Nnamdi on the same
Holy
team.
shit. Could you
Holy
imagine?
shit is right. That you are not completing a pass.
Man.
Prime Woodson, prime Nnamdi.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no, Michelle, that's a great, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we know your personal connection to it and everything, but like, just like, I mean, again, no one personifies it better nowadays. Like, he's the modern day Willie Brown. Like, who else? Like, who else could we think of?
Yeah.
That does it better than Woodson does?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, more of them, less of us.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Hey,
Let's
let's head
shout
to
out
the
the chat room first.
Michelle, why don't you do that?
All right, so Chuck Raiders in there, Raider Rick, Paul, Jordan Ford, Corey Hagan, SoCal Sal, Chris.
Hey,
Chris.
In there.
Hey.
Gladiator Raider is in there. Listen, everybody's in there. Ron's of course in there.
Of course he is.
Stalwart.
All of them are in there.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Appreciate you holding it down.
All right, let's head to the Sea of Fans mailbag.
Do it.
There he is, baiting, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is.
All right, here we are on the Sea of Fans mailbag. This is where we hear from you because more of you and less of us is a good thing. And if you want to be part of Raiders Fan Radio, you can go to gosh dang, I always mess that one up. You can go to youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio and join us live each and every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern here on the YouTubes. Or you can email the show, and you can email the show at show. That is show SHOW at RaidersFanRadio.com. And if we read your email an indefinite amount of times, you can become a made man or made maiden here at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you call the show at 909-345-3346, that's 909-345-3346, and you leave a voicemail and we play it 3 or more times on the show, you can become a made man or made maiden that way. And Michelle has the honor of reading your emails this week. And Michelle, who do we have?
So first we have Raider Roo.
What's up, Roo?
Hello, Raider Nation. Well, they went the direction I didn't want them to go. I'm not going to dwell on the reasons I wanted to go a different direction. That's wasted energy. I'm moving on and looking at why many like the hire. Pete Carroll is the head coach, and I'm going to root for him to do a great job. Given the amount of people who like the hire and considering who many of those are, it's hard to not see the positives. At the very least, he probably gets us headed in the right direction, making us a more desirable head coach job when his time is done. Be that for a coach and on his staff or from outside the organization. If he only builds a solid foundation and helps the organization show they won't have a super short leash with the head coach, that will be huge for us. Maybe he's able to do more, and that would be great. I'm along for the ride no matter what. Thank you all, Raider Roo.
Nice. Oh, Raider Roo.
Next, we have Hooligan Nation.
Nice.
Well, Murf, Swaggo, and Michelle, how are we feeling? The season's over and the super boycott is in full effect, so fuck the refs and the queefs. Let's talk about the Raiders. New GM, I like the Spytech hire. He's fresh and seemingly a great evaluator of talent. I liked what he had to say, and I liked what so many others had to say about him. We have our head coach, and I'll be honest, I was underwhelmed with the hire of Carroll. After the press conference, though, I'm warming up to the idea. I know you guys like the idea of Carroll after we didn't get Johnson, and after some time to sit and think about this hire, I think it could be a win. I love the idea of maintaining some of our current staff and injecting some new blood. If we don't keep Graham, I think Leonard could be a good fit, and if anyone could continue to grow his defensive mind, it would be Pete. So OC, Darrell Bevel has been mentioned, and one of the things we liked about Johnson was his play calling. Today I heard Johnson learned this from Bevel.
Interesting.
QB, yeah, I didn't know that. We all know we have to go all in here and put ourselves in a competitive place in the division. So what if we got Russell Wilson, we get lucky enough to draft Shador at 6, and somehow we sneak in Jackson Dart as well? I don't know if you caught any of the Senior Bowl practice. I've had time since I've been sick all week, but Dart looks really good, much better than Milroe. I know time will tell what comes next, and maybe I'm getting sucked back into this like the dude going back to his ex, but damn it, I can't help myself. Raider Nation for life. Hooligan out.
Hey.
Thank you, Hooligan.
Hooligan?
Hooligan. He's got us taking a free agent and 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, he does.
Holy cow.
He's swinging.
Hey, there you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Pause.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering if anyone was going to pause that. Okay, Soren is next. Hi, guys. So I was over the moon when we got Pete Carroll. I hoped for Ben Johnson, but if it could not be him, I would like to have a proven winner in as head coach. So I was rooting for Gruden, Carroll, McCarthy, or Tomlin. So when we got Carroll, I was over the moon, and the press conference confirmed my feeling. Pump it into my veins. By the way, I have been wrong about every player from free agency, draft, or trade since I became a fan after I saw us lose to the Ravens because of fat-ass Tony. Because I think that every player will be a great success and the next legend. I feel the same with head coaches and GMs. It makes it more fun to be a fan if you think everyone will be great and we go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl every year. Rather be optimistic and keep having faith and find hope in new players, head coaches, and GMs. It is much easier. It is much more fun that way, and it makes it easier to handle all the disappointments we have had the last 20-plus years. Keep up the great work and watch Carroll destroy the league. Med Venlig Hilson. That's Soren.
Nice. Nice, Soren. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Soren in a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Martin.
Martin.
Evening all from the land with only one accent, cheeky Cockney, and where football is actually played with the feet.
Right.
Have we finally reached the nadir of our slump and hired the people to get us back on the upswing again? Another season ends with another press conference introducing another GM and head coach, but this one feels different from the Pat's Light Boys and the rah-rah guy. Pete Carroll is a winner. He's transformed both college and NFL squads and made them into winners and has a ring to prove it. Tom Brady knows a winner when he sees one and clearly feels his advanced age is no barrier to continued success. I certainly don't. People worried about Pete Carroll's age haven't seen him taking practice recently.
Yeah.
Come to that, people worried about Spytek's pedigree don't know who in the NFL he cites as mentors and influences. I love both these hires and am as confident as I've ever been that better times are not far away. Shout out to the chat for always being entertaining company on a Wednesday night / Thursday morning. Go Raiders. Martin.
Hey, thank you, Martin.
Then we have Paul.
Oh.
Evening, everybody.
Jeez,
I hope you're...
Speaking of hall pass over there,
low.
jeez, Jeff.
You went low on that
man.
one. Sultry.
Well, yeah.
He's like,
hey, I didn't do that.
That's how
I can't remember.
That's
Someone
how Murf heard it.
Someone in the chat said that your hall pass list was longer than your Raider list.
Well, and I forgot it. I forgot about Sandra Douglas Morgan and Sofia Vergara.
Oh,
while I was on a break.
Wow.
That'd be hall pass.
Okay.
Or add him to the list.
Valerie's over there going like, what the fuck is going on over there?
She's over there working on her list. She's like, let me add some people to my list.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, she got a list. I'm sure she does.
Evening, everybody. I hope you're all well.
You jackass. You're right, though.
It's like a scroll. She's like, oh.
Now that you mention it.
Like the old school, like dot matrix notebook paper or whatever.
Put my glasses on.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Okay. I have a few points to make this. Okay.
Okay.
That's too far.
That was sorry. I'm sorry.
Finally
Val,
taking it too
far.
Finally.
After watching the press conference on Monday, I have to be honest and say I didn't feel any kind of emotion at all. I didn't have the chest thumping, run through a wall feeling I had on day one of AP's reign, but equally, I didn't have any negative feelings either. They said what I expected them to say, and I have full faith in what they are about to do and achieve. They're already an improvement on who we've had the last 3 years, so let's hope we can see positive strides early. I've always admired Pete Carroll, and I'm not just saying that because he's now our coach. He's been up there with Mike Tomlin for me for a while now, and his age doesn't bother me one bit. I know nothing about John Spytek other than he was 4 months old when I listened to my first Raiders game on Armed Forces Radio, which makes me feel great. There are exciting times ahead this spring because none of us know what direction we're going to move in free agency or the draft, although free agency will clearly give us a major clue. We can't keep doing this hiring and firing thing every year. We have to see more stability, and I believe we will now. Through all the recent turmoil, I believe we have more positives than negatives on the roster. They've just been coached badly. That will now change. Of course, there are positions to be improved on, and having a head coach that can be looked up to and respected like Pete Carroll will be huge in the locker room, plus Spytek's reputation within the game seems very encouraging. Now I want to mention Max Crosby's current situation. He didn't cut a happy figure at the press conference, and his attitude has wavered a little in recent months. All of this, in my opinion, is part of a strategy to get a restructured contract and guaranteed money. But here's the bigger picture. I believe we have until December to keep him. We have to show stability, improvement, and competitiveness by then, because if we happen to find ourselves 2-6 at the bye week, he's gone. Now, should John Spytek see that eventually on the horizon, he could maximize Max's value now to trade up in the draft. That would be Russian roulette so early in his new job, though. I'll say at this point that in no way, shape, or form do I want to lose Max Crosby. The world is a better place with him in silver and black. Give him his money, keep him happy, and go and get Khalil Mack for him to have alongside Christian Wilkins, Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, Shazon, and Adam Butler. I'm not going to lie. I am worried about the situation, though, because we heard the Raider for Life stuff all the time with Devontae Adams. Let's make sure we improve and compete, then the question won't be raised in any conversation. Around the league at the weekend, we saw another disaster unfold as the NFL marketing department knocked the Bills out of the playoffs. Put simply, this corruption has to stop. I call for the NFL fans all over the world to boycott the Super Bowl, hit them where it hurts, the viewing figures, because no matter what the Eagles do for those 60 minutes, they've lost already. And it stinks like the diaper bin at the Rivers household. And finally, I'll look for anything to help the Raiders win, any kind of omen at all, any kind of tenuous link that leads to hope, including today, which is the Chinese New Year, and it happens to be the year of the snake. So it's destiny, folks. Super Bowl 60. Super Bowl 60, Santa Clara 2026. Here we come. Stay safe, RFR family. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi. Pauly Award winner 2019 and 2022. Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020. Made Man of the Year 2024. BRT Sizzler Scorekeeper. Proud Made Man.
Five times.
Times 4 plus 4. Winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award.
Nice. There you go, Paul.
Paul, your name Paul? Hello? Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi.
I'm Paul.
Darn right you are, Paul. And thank you so very much for not only for Paul, but for all the emailers tonight. And we've got some amazing voicemails now to get into. So let's go ahead and jump into those. If you want to email the show like Paul and the others did, you can email us at show, that's SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. Or you can call the show like our upcoming callers, and you can call us at 909-345-3346. So first up, let's get to... I believe this is Josh in the East Bay.
Okay.
Hey, RFR fam. This is Josh in the East Bay. Calling in this morning. Pete Carroll just got announced as our newest head coach, and I'm pretty jazzed. The guy brings stability, credibility. You know what you're getting. I foresee calm seas ahead, which is something we're not used to. But it's something I've been craving since 2002. I love the hire. I think, he's not an offensive guy, but he looks the other three coaches in our division in the face and says, "Fuck you. Come and take it." Just imagine that first game in LA against the Chargers. Every USC Raider fan is going to show up, and I think our losing streak at SoFi will come to an end. But I'm optimistic today. I'm optimistic. Yeah, we're going to be there. Sorry, dropping off at daycare. Kids get Nancy.
Nice.
I'm juiced. The only thing that I would love more is Saleh coming in as DC to rub it in the Niner fans' faces. But it's a good day in Raider Nation. I think we can only go up from here. Let's go.
All right, give it up for Josh in the East Bay. Good stuff there from our buddy Josh in the East Bay. I love the Bob Saleh thing, Jeff. How about you? I mean, it doesn't sound like it's going to happen now, but
no, I think he's already accepted.
Oh, he's already taken the job. He's already taken the job
with the Niners, yeah. But that would have been cool. That would have been my vote. I love Bob
that. Would have been
Saleh.
the guy. Yeah,
I love Saleh.
Yeah, I do too. All right, next up, let's see. We've got. Sorry, we're a little scattered here on these voicemails. Next here, I've got. I don't know who this is. Caller in 559. That's got to be Jacob in Fresno.
Hey.
I hope he's happier today.
Murf, Jeff, and the lovely Michelle Swed. What's up, guys? Listen, it's Sunday afternoon, I guess. It's morning to me because I worked a double, and my first double, and a new job I'm doing.
Congratulations.
But, everything is just hectic. I don't understand what's going on. I am seeing double because I did a double. And the coffee, everything, the vitamins I took, it's all just kind of a big blur right now. So let me gather my mind right now to say that I hope the Chiefs lose the most heart-wrenching, heartbreaking loss that they've ever lost in their entire franchise, and that they spiral downward and lose everything because of this. Because they dared to three-peat. Because they dared to be so proud in the face of all that is wonderful in this world. I hope that they lose it all. I hope that Patrick Mahomes is traded to the Indiana Barnstormers or whatever. I hope he goes to the CFL and never plays another down. That's not really what I hope. God bless Patrick Mahomes. You take it easy, but golly, stop playing for the Chiefs. Stop playing so well. How about that? Listen, guys, I really need the Bills to win, like bad. It's to a point where I just can't take it anymore. I hate those Chiefs. I hurt those Chiefs. They have to stop winning, right? And so I'm at a point right now. It's Sunday. You guys could be on the other side of a really happy Sunday, and I hope that that's what happens. I'm putting it out there.
Some really
Bills
bad news,
28,
Jacob.
Chiefs 25. But here's the thing. I think the whole world wants to see the Commanders play the Bills in the Super Bowl, but we all know what it's the Eagles and Chiefs. But you guys know better than I would at this time, because you guys got the future on your side. I'm still stuck on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, whatever this is.
I wish I was.
Once again, guys,
right?
seeing double. Don't understand what's going on. It's all a blur. But here's the thing. We got Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. I mean, it's 73 years old, going to be 74 mid the season. Oldest head coach in history. And I'm excited. I'm excited as I can be. You know, there's a lot of things that went wrong this season for me to really get my hopes up. But I really think that he's going to provide stability, and that's what we have needed. That's what you guys always talk about. Mark Davis saying we really need organizational stability, and I think that he'll be able to provide that, guys. And I'm hoping that the greatness of the Raiders is in its future. I know I'm going to run out of time, but I love you guys. God bless you. Take it easy and go Raiders!
Raiders! Atta boy, Jacob. Way to bring it, bro.
Yeah. And I love his call out on, you know, the stability that Pete Carroll and John Spytek and to go further, Tom Brady is bringing to this organization, because, you know, I heard firsthand, I kind of, you know, was eavesdropping on a conversation between Filippiano and Mark Davis a few years ago with the Biletnikoff thing. And he said that he lost his stability when he lost John and he lost Bedane. He lost those guys. He lost his stability. He lost his juice. He lost his football operation guys. And now he's got it. He's got it back.
He's got it.
It's back.
That's what we were talking about last week. Like, I think everything that he's done, well, you can be critical of the hires. He's done it with the intention to turn it over.
He's trying so
hard. He wanted
hard,
Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler to take the ropes. He wanted Jack Del Rio and Reggie McKenzie to take the ropes. He wanted, you know, Gruden, who did until he didn't because of freaking stupid emails. You know what I mean? But like, yeah. So I'm with you, dude. I feel like that's. Don't you feel like that, Michelle?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. I think it's like when you're in a really terrible relationship but they love bomb and you're like, man, you know, you're kind of excited. And then you get in an actual real relationship where there's stability and you're almost like, okay, what the hell's this? I don't like this. This is way too easy. I think that's kind of what this is. Like, it feels like, okay, this was way too easy, way too calm, way too cool. But I think that's exactly what the Raiders need stability and longevity in this stability. And I think that's exactly what this is.
Absolutely. That's a great analogy too, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's see. Next up, we've got caller in the 703.
What up, fam?
What up, fam? Well, I was all good and excited. You know, got Pete Carroll. I was all right, solid hire. You know, start building this franchise, lay the foundation. So hopefully we get a younger guy to pass it on to later. I had good news going into the weekend. And then the fucking Bills can't complete the fucking job. Man, also, you know what I'm saying? I saw a video. We offered to the table. Funny as hell. Look, I know if I did that too, I'd be like, my hip. But he's talking about Raider fans are rooting for the Chiefs. They're a fucking rival for a fucking reason. We don't root for our rivals. We root for their downfall, not their success. So I don't know who the fuck is rooting for the Chiefs. And I've ran into even one or two Raider fans. Well, I just love Patrick Mahomes. Man, fuck Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, fuck Kelsey, fuck all of them.
Yeah.
They're kicking our ass. They've been kicking our ass for almost 20 years. From Alex Smith to now fucking Patrick Mahomes, the last
Preach,
decade or
dude.
so, they've been fucking whooping our ass. And you're rooting for them? Get the fuck out of here, man. So fucking, I don't know who sold their soul. Someone must have sold their soul for this shit to be happening, man. I mean, this shit is unreal. We're seeing these motherfuckers in there again and again. Man, I pray that Saquon runs for fucking 350 yards. That's probably the only way the Eagles can be able to beat them. Think of it, man. And we sitting over here trying to put our fucking team together, and you're just looking across the way like, nah. That's like, man, we're in the halfway house. We're looking across the way. Oh, look at that mansion right there. That'd be nice to have one day, wouldn't it? Fuck! Hey, it's Ace fan. That makes you say it right. So I'm going to hit you up. Raiders, man! I'm sick of the goddamn Chiefs!
Oh, my gosh. So basically, Josh just said,
Fuck you, Travis Kelce.
That's pretty much it there, though. Man, great stuff there from our buddy Josh down in the 703 Swag Jeff.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, next up, let's see. We've got a caller in a 5-7. Oh, this is Jay in St. Louis.
Hey,
this
there
is
you go.
Jordan Ford. Here we go, Jordan.
Murf, Swaggo.
Get the earmuffs ready.
Michelle. It's Jay from St. Louis. You got Pete Carroll, yo. Let's go. Everyone's talking about his age and shit, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I just like that we have a coach that's not a joke. Like, that's it's point blank, period. And, man, fuck the Chiefs, really. Like, but blame the Bills, man.
That's so real.
When the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes 10th overall, who'd they trade with? Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo's the reason that we have to fucking deal with all this stupid bullshit.
Dude.
Thanks a lot, Buffalo.
Great
But
call.
now, man, now I gotta cheer for the fucking Eagles. Cause I'm not even gonna watch it, to be honest with you, but hope it's a great show. Peace out.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it.
Everyone's
Jay.
so exhausted from the Chiefs. Like
100%.
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Well, you know, and he brought up Josh did, and Jay in St. Louis kind of alluded to a little bit there about the people that are rooting for the Chiefs, the Raider fans are rooting for the Chiefs.
Okay,
do it.
I don't like to tell fans how to fan.
Okay, please.
But that is a
yes.
wild take.
Thank you.
And I don't even care like if the Eagles, someone on the team like stole your lunch money for your whole life and put you in lockers. Like, I don't even care if there was a personal something. I would never fucking cheer for the Chiefs. Oh, it could be Satan could be in the damn Super Bowl, and I would be like, hell yeah, go Satan. Let's go. Beat the Chiefs. Like, I just don't understand how a Raiders fan could, in good conscience, choose the Chiefs and cheer for them and say it with their whole chest is another weird thing. Like, okay, if you're going to do it from your sofa. Like, don't tell anybody. But you're going to go tell everybody? No, I don't get it. But I don't want to tell you how to fan.
Yeah.
That's just my disclaimer.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
Go, Jeff.
You're exactly right. You know, it's kind of like the dopey people that in college, that root for college teams that are like, well, you know, I'm a Michigan fan, but it's okay if Ohio State wins because it's a Big Ten.
Oh, I have
like,
heard
don't
that.
do
Yeah.
that stupid shit. I'm a Tennessee fan,
And you're going to root for
and I'm
Alabama?
going to root for Alabama. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Never, ever. No, anybody but them. Anybody but them.
Yeah.
And so for those folks that are like, well, at least it's in our division or whatever, like, save
That's
me
not how
save
it
me that.
works.
That's not how that shit
it
works. If any, it's got to be, it's us or it's nobody. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're not, who's rooting for anyone in our division?
I don't get it, man. And I had a guy, actually more than a guy. There was a handful of people on Twitter that were like, no, I'm going to root for the Chiefs because this reason or whatever. And one of them that jumped out at me was, he said, no, there was some personal things. There was a guy that was like, oh, I went to a Buffalo game and the fans sucked.
I think I saw that.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can sort of get that. Although at the same time, if you're going to an opposing stadium wearing other team's gear, like I've seen plenty of Raider fans do things to opposing fans. So like, I'm not saying you're asking for it, but like there's a certain setup involved there when it comes to that. But the one that got me was the guy that said, well, the media is constantly pushing the Bills over the goal line. I'm like, what fucking goal line are you watching?
He's living in a different reality.
They haven't won anything. They've been to 4 straight Super Bowls, lost them all, and now lost 4 straight times to the Chiefs. The media is pushing the Bills over the goal line? That was such an odd take. And again, I'm with you, Michelle. Like, I'm not fan police. I'm not trying to tell you how to think, how to feel. Like, you do what you do, man. And frankly, I'll respect it, but I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense. My silver and black brain can't do the math to where you as a Raider fan would say, no, I'd kind of like to see Mahomes get another one.
Oh, God.
Dude, don't get it at all.
I don't respect it.
Well,
yeah, no, I'm judging like really
hard. I can't fathom another thing that I could judge harder as far as football opinions go. That one, I'm judging. I judge it. I don't care what could have happened. It does not. I could never say, man, I hope they get that three-peat. Man, how cool would that be?
Weird.
And one of them was in Allegiant. How cool would that be? Like, why would I? Why that? I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Nope.
Again, I can't do the math on it.
No.
What's the chat room saying? Is anybody jumping in on that?
Let's see.
Yeah, who's roasting me for?
No, but well, we all get roasted all the time in the chat room. But that's why we love them.
No, everyone seems to kind of. It's like, let's see. Those Raiders fans are usually casuals. Mikey said those Raiders fans are usually casuals. I work with a few of them. They're also like 25.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan Ford. That's like being friends with the guy that your wife. Which like seriously, yeah. It's most everybody's kind of feeling that too. Yeah.
Paul says I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
Yeah. And then eat finger foods. Like, I mean, seriously.
For real though. For real though. Eat finger foods.
I'm so serious. I would rather. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I went too far.
No.
Okay.
Okay. That's my second warning.
All right, last one. We got Steven San Diego again.
Hey.
That can't be the last one. I forwarded you. Rico had a call.
Do I have Rico?
Yeah, I forwarded it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, then this
cow.
is not the last one. Then we're going to do Steven San Diego next.
Hey guys, this is Steve in San Diego.
Hey, Steve.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the press conference. You probably did.
Yes, we did.
But I'm
just gonna have a chat with Steven San Diego over here.
Yeah, you are.
I'd say the first thing I took out of that is the instant connection that they have.
Yeah, I really thought so too, Steve.
Between Spytek and Pete Carroll.
What a great dynamic between those two.
I mean, it looked really good.
It was nice.
I don't think it was anything close to that with AP.
They're on your hall pass list now.
Telesco. That's why I thought AP
You just
should
made the
stay
list.
with.
Damn, you need a notebook. Like, get rid of the piece of paper. Get him a notebook.
Yeah, front and back.
College rule.
Yeah. God dang, bro.
I remember when I used to like you guys. That was cool. All right, here we go. All right.
Let Steve talk.
Champ Kelly, because I thought they had a good connection the year before. Anyway, so it was really good to see. They looked, Pete. Like they say, I told you, doesn't look 73. Seems, 37 or whatever, And I like how he said, wearing that number on my back. What? Why is there that number on my back? Anyway, so it's just funny to see, and it should be exciting going forward. I don't know how you guys feel. I hope you guys are. I'm just, I'm not expecting anything great. I know Pete said, hey, we looking to win right away, but that's okay, Pete. Just progress is all we want. We've been gone through this too long. So just getting progress, knowing that there's some provenness and all that stuff, that's all we're looking for. So it would be great to see. And I heard maybe like a running back possibility. I don't know for them or anything, but, maybe a Marshawn Lynch type. Oh, by the way, his little Raiders, that was kind of cool.
That was cool.
He was there and all that stuff, even saying that. And there's I guess there's a running back in the draft that's built like him, I guess. I don't know. I heard Scadaboo.
Yeah. Arizona State.
They can go. No. Anyway, let's see. So, look forward to it. There's something different in the air, and hopefully we'll go forward, and it'll look great. Now we got some, solid foundation and building for the future. Oh, I heard Mark say that they didn't even interview Ben Johnson, which is interesting.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But he needs to lose all the games. He said he had the nerve to say Bears Nation. Okay, that guy needs to lose now. I'm sorry, you can't be saying that. Anyway, all right. So you guys, it's great. You guys have a great show, and hope everything goes well, and hopefully we look forward to see what happens and getting our offense and defensive coordinator. I heard they're trying to keep Patrick Graham, but yeah. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Here you go, Steve.
Did you guys happen to listen to the Susie Schuster and Amy Trask's podcast, the What the Football? Did you listen to
didn't
Pete
listen to the
Carroll?
whole thing, but I heard the parts. Talk about it.
Yeah, well, she asked, one of them asked about, like, it was really cool hearing, like, him talk about their relationship and stuff. But she had asked, like, would we expect to see him as maybe a coach or something on the team? And he didn't say yes or no, but he did say that to expect to see him around a lot, which would be so cool just to have Marshawn sort of back in the building.
Heck yeah.
That would be really cool. But it's a really cool, and it's just like a 10-minute interview, but it is really neat hearing it. Yeah.
I liked the parts that I did hear was they talked about how, well, first to touch on that, about Marshawn being part of the mix again. When the Oakland Raiders became the Las Vegas Raiders, even though he's got his beast mode store and stuff in Vegas and all that, he kind of dipped out. He was like, I'm an Oakland Raider. I'm not a Las Vegas Raider. But when you bring Pete into the mix, it reintroduces Marshawn into that ecosystem because he's got such reverence for Pete and vice versa, right? So I do love that connectivity there. And that's what the Raiders do best, don't they, Michelle?
Yeah.
Is that we connect to our alumni, we connect to our past. And like when Marshawn yelled that, because I think it kind of took everybody aback. Even you see like Harry Ruiz and like all these people, and they're like, what is that? Like who would yell that out? But I love the interaction that he and Pete then have in the hallway, where he's like, who else is going to yell at you like that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, of course it's Marshawn, man. I love that.
His
I love
energy, like that's, I think, going to be a vital to also helping establish the culture or keep what's been established. And he just has such an energy. Yeah. And I mean, you can't go wrong having him. And he is like a tell it like it is guy, you know, so he's not going to sugarcoat things. Like I think he'll be great to have in the building.
Yeah, he was chopping it up with Max during that press conference and stuff like that, man. Like that's crucial, man, to have a guy like that in the building.
I can't remember, somebody mentioned like Max and his behavior and stuff, but I don't know if you noticed when you listened to his podcast, he sounded like a different person. This podcast compared to the last podcast that where he talked about the team and his agent and those kind of things. He sounded like a totally different
he
person.
Pretty much dismissed any trade rumor or anything like that. He goes, all that stuff was fan created. Like that wasn't me. Like, he sounds pumped as hell about Pete.
He did.
The body language, I'm a sucker for body language and word choice.
Yeah.
And when you look at the body language between him and Spytek and him and Carroll, like after when he's looking at Pete like he's got like a grin, like a joy on the guy's face.
Well, and he said Spytek called him. Like he said on his podcast that Spytek called him. I can't remember the timing of it, just to kind of be like, you know, let's do this. And so I mean, they're not getting rid of Max.
Nah,
he
Max
ain't going anywhere. He's a Raider for life.
Yeah, hell yeah. Max ain't going anywhere. All right, I've got one more to get to. And of course, thank you for reminding. Actually, we got a call like here on the fly.
Nice.
Let's see what this is. 704.
Yo, what's up? Ralph in the building.
Rafucho.
So I just wanted to tell you, we just dodged a bullet of Liam Cohen because he's doing like the worst, and the whole crew was laughing, trying. Thank God we got Papa. Now, why Pete? He's gonna bring old school Raiders. He's gonna put on this one because I know that some players say, but I'm tired of coaching to say, hey, get your fat ass in here and get to work right now, because that's what we need it for. Leadership, respect, discipline, everything. Because I love the enthusiasm of Pete Carroll, because I know that some persons that even talking about like his age. But look, this conference is going to be really loaded between Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, also Pete Carroll, and who else? I mean, this is going to be so much interesting. So I just wanted to say salute to everybody else on the radios, fan radio, Murf, Michelle, Swag Jeff, everything on my brothers on the radios, fan radio. I love to hear it every time that I listen to you guys. And of course, this time I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl because
there it is.
Another cheese going in? No, because this is not. Salute to y'all.
There
you go, Rafa. Let's go, dude. El Capitan.
Love it.
I just hate it though because I think so many people are casual watchers, and the Super Bowl is like it's just on, and they really do watch it for the commercials, even though those are fucking trash. They've been trash for years. Like I don't remember a good Super Bowl commercial in the last like 5 years, maybe even longer. But I think there's so many just casual fans that have Super Bowl parties and they don't really care about the team, you know. So I wonder how many people are not going to watch. I'm very curious to see the numbers difference.
It's very interesting conversation there. I think that can be had. And Michelle, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think that when you look at the way that this season has unfolded, the hardcore football fans, the people like Rafa there, folks like us, we are desensitized in a way, or like not interested in a way of what's gone on, or oversensitized anyways, to what's gone on in the league and in the playoffs. And the lack of interest by hardcore football fans is prominent. I mean, all you got to do is just comb around on social media for a minute.
For sure.
And it's not just Raider fans. It's fatigue on a lot of fronts.
Yeah.
But the casual viewer, and I hate to bring it up, but the Swiftie, don't dox me. I'm just making a point.
I mean, that's real.
The Swiftie's going to watch the Super Bowl with the hopes of catching her on camera, and it's going to happen 16 times.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's going to artificially inflate viewership. I promise you the NFL is going to tout record ratings for this Super Bowl, and it will have nothing to do with those of us that have not missed a snap of our favorite football team all year long. And, oh, by the way, probably every team in our division and every team that could potentially compete with us in the AFC.
Absolutely.
And beyond and so on. And just fun stories that we lock into as football fans. Like, I watch the NFL incessantly throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to watch this goddamn game. And you know what? It won't make a difference.
I know.
It won't make a difference. Because
the Swifties are going to override us. And the Swifties and the whatever that the podcast, like they have a lot of listeners too.
Yeah, whatever the Kelsey Brothers
New
podcast
Heights
is.
Or Tall
New Heights.
Or,
New Heights.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're gonna, and the Swifties alone are gonna override everything. Yeah.
And it's going to mask what actually is going on.
Yeah.
And then one of these days, she's not going to be...
Which is why they don't care.
Well, you're right. But then also, too, one of these days, that when she's not associated with the NFL...
She ain't going to be around. Yeah.
She got an age date, too, just like the rest of us do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Father Time is undefeated in whatever. God bless them, and I hope they have a wonderful relationship for the rest of their lives. But guess what? Travis ain't that far from retiring.
Well, that's true.
And the day he retires, she's
gone.
She ain't
coming
gone.
back.
She ain't coming. She gonna be in the Chiefs booth
Hell no.
for crying out loud when he's not around.
Absolutely.
So that thing is, so it's got a date to it. And when that date is over, oh yeah, and you've lost us.
Yeah.
Come on now, we've been riding with you all for 30, 40, 50 years.
And I don't care.
Like
those Taylor Swift fans are not coming in to become new NFL fans.
Hell no.
It almost seems dense for them to think that that's even a possibility. I don't understand because they're not playing some sort of long game. As soon as Travis retires and they're gone, the Swifties are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
They
It's
are
over.
not, they'll
100%.
find another, wherever she goes next, they'll attach to her there. Like, it's weird that they would put all those eggs in that basket.
It is weird. And you know what? And NFL fans aren't going to go to her concert just because Travis.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's, listen, I'm not judging anybody who likes her music, whatever.
She ain't bringing new fans with her.
Knock yourself out. But
Sure.
if she's dating Max Crosby, like, I'm not like rocking Taylor Swift in the house and going to go to a concert because she's freaking dating Max. Like,
Right.
you're not pulling anybody in
Yeah.
on either side. So
Yeah.
it does. I'm with you, Michelle.
Yeah.
I think it is short lived. I think it's honestly short lived, which is probably a good thing. Yeah. But anyways, all right. Enough of us
we have
bitching.
a super chat.
Please.
Oh, nice.
Jordan Ford with a $5 super chat said, NFL doesn't care about hardcore fans because they know we'll tune in no matter what. They just care about expanding. I ain't tuning in.
We're not tuning in. I mean, thank you for the donation.
Yes.
I'm watching that shit.
But yeah, like
We're out,
those
man.
casual fans they'll be the ones because they're going to have their Swiftie parties and they're going to have their cocktails and their, charcuterie boards and they're just going to be waiting to do a screen record of her so they can go record a TikTok about it or something.
Yep.
And that's all.
Yep.
Shout out to Stitch. All right, jeez. All right, we're down bad.
Yeah, I am down bad. I am down.
You know what I mean? Like as much, and I believe it was you, Michelle, this week that said like we were down so bad the way that Sunday unfolded. I gotta say this, man. Thank goodness for this press conference this week.
Literally.
The tone of this show,
we needed that.
The tone of this show would have been so different,
bro,
Jeff.
Come on.
Yeah.
We'd have been all in our feelings. I mean, full on bitch mode about freaking the status of the NFL and all this stuff that we're just talking about. And I think we can kind of discuss it in a lighthearted fashion because there is a little bit of light on the horizon.
That's it. We see the hope.
Yeah.
We see the hope. We've
Don't
been
give me hope.
We've been I feel like we've been rejuvenated a little bit.
A little bit,
you
man.
know
No,
what I mean?
for real,
for
dude.
real. Like I got some juice. I got some fire, man. You know, yeah, it sucks.
A little bit, but there's still a fucking gray cloud.
Well, that is
sure.
very true.
But there was a little bit of hope because I probably wouldn't have came tonight. You know, I'm just kidding.
Me either. And I live 2 minutes
art
away.
to work on.
Would have been me and you, chat room, bitching about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, hell
man.
yeah.
No, that was. I'm glad
Well, for real,
that happened.
like, yeah.
yeah.
We need it. We need
Because we could be the
Needed that
Saints.
shit.
They don't even have a damn coach yet. Like, who are they going to hire?
Right?
Who wants to coach Derek Carr?
Nobody.
Yikes.
Nobody does.
Yikes. Trade him to the
so
Giants.
it could be worse. It could be worse.
Trade him to the Giants?
Are they talking about that?
That's what the.
Oh, wait. Really?
Maybe
I haven't
that's
heard
like
that.
a conversation about trading his ass to the Giants.
Oh, do it.
Where his
Do it. We'll get Shador.
Where his brother became a Super Bowl champion.
Oh, please.
Good. Good.
It's wild, man.
Oh, I'm rooting for that. Big time.
Can you imagine?
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Then he can show us even more that he is who he was.
Well, yeah.
Have fun with New York media, Derek.
Oh, man.
Oh, watch them trade for Derek and then sign like Jackson Dart and Dart beats him out.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Could happen.
That's how freaking David won his ring.
That's true.
Oh, that's
Was
right.
backing up Eli.
That's true.
Oh, my gosh.
Just saying. Jeez, it's crazy. It's wild in these David or Derek Carr streets. All right.
It is dangerous there.
All right. Next up, we got our buddy. Thank you, Michelle, for reminding me of this. So, for those of you that are new to the show, we have a lot of callers.
Sure.
And we have some that are, they're all unique and they're all wonderful. We love all of our callers and we love all of our emailers. But there are some that stand out, man.
Sure.
There's Hall of Famers. Everyone in the
There
NFL
are,
is
yeah.
great. You have to be great to get there. But then there are some that are next level.
Sure.
And this guy is a next level player.
For you.
Well, for everybody.
He's on your hall pass.
Yep.
Get the pen.
God dang, how long is my list?
Now Swag's taking care of your list. He's like,
Because he's on your list too.
I don't know about that.
Well, I know about that. You told me. But
sharing each other's lists now.
so Jeff, if you got lights,
oh damn them.
Hey Michelle, if you got candles,
Light them up.
there you go. If you've got some some soft like music to play,
I'll blare it.
Turn it up.
if you've got a bath,
Get in it.
Get in that bitch.
if you've got pants,
Well, they're probably
they're
they're
already
already
off by
off because
now.
everybody knows what's coming. Oh,
They off by now.
all right, let's check in with our good buddy. We give him a lot of crap because he's got such a smooth voice and a wonderful delivery, and we love to hear him. But
An
he's
amazing
also,
Raider take.
That's
Fucking
the
takes
thing. His
rule.
Raider takes rule. So let's go with Raider-born Rico.
Hey guys, Red-Born Rico here. So let me put it this way. I'm fine with Pete Carroll as a new coach, even if I'm an old school Raider and I hate the Seahawks. As I'm fine we have a new general manager, even if I think the other done a good job. And I'm okay to have Brady calling shots, even if he say he hate the Raiders. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about forgiveness.
Come on.
And it seems like some of our enemies are becoming allies, and nothing wrong in that. Mark 9:40. For whoever is not against us is for us. So if there's a good effort put into it, and there's going to be a good job out of it, you will have to recognize it and appreciate it. But we will see about that next season. That's why I'm not going to buy anything right now because not only there can be just words and nothing else by a new coach, a new player, a new manager, but also because this is my property, right? I bought it already when I bought a Raider. It's mine. That's why I'm also not ashamed. Like last year, some people were ashamed to say, I bought into a P idea. There was nothing wrong into it. I'm in the same Raider mindset every time. I'm in the same commitment to excellence. I own it. I don't need to buy it. So saying that, I wasn't really in favor of hitting the reset button, but it might be the time we're going to make the good reset. I'm confident we're going to see something positive. Now, only if we start to act like a proper franchise, meaning that if we fail for the next few seasons, we got to keep the same people around. We correct mistake if it's needed, and we capitalize on failure. Because enough of fire this, fire that. If a coach is not up for the job, respect the process, let him finish his 3 years tenure, and get something out of the next draft, for example. That's one of the reasons, maybe the only reason, why Jaden Daniels is not a Raider right now. And I want McDaniels out of the building as well. But if we let him finish his horrible job, we would get him between the first and the third pick of the draft. So we need to start to act professionally without casting stones or calling for heads mid-seasons. Patience. We might see some results straight away, but it can also take time as well. Meanwhile, we just have to do our job, being a Raider, believing in this team, cheering for this team. With all that say, keep the faith. Love you from the bottom of my heart. Cheers to all of you, and I'm out. Go Raiders.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Rico.
Yeah.
You know, patience is a word we're allergic to, you know, as Raider fans. But I think that he's got a point, and it's a fair one, that is there a turnaround to be, you know, is that available for a guy like Pete Carroll and this team and all that? Sure, it's possible. But this is probably going to be a 2-year deal. That said, 9-8 should be in the wheelhouse like that.
For sure.
Like, I think, you know what I mean? Like, we'll find out what happens with quarterback and all that. But I really respect his comments around that this is probably going to be a 2-year thing. And I could see Pete going the way of, and I'm not trying to sell you a false hope here or narrative or whatever, Raider Nation, but I could see this going the way of Dick Vermeil the second time he came back to the NFL, coaches the Rams, lands on Kurt Warner, the freaking greatest show on turf is born. He wins a Super Bowl. Peace. I'm out of here. And rides off into the sunset. Like, I think if you asked Pete Carroll in a candid moment, Jeff, that's what he's got in mind. And then where Dick Vermeil turns it over to Mike Martz, like whoever that guy is, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
turns it over to Patrick Graham or something like that.
But yeah, that's the mission.
And you could tell that from the press conference. He said very clear, like, this isn't like a 3-4 year plan. Like, we want to do this shit right now. Like, he sees the pieces that are in place. But I'm with you. I think if we see as long as we see an improvement in the first year, but like, you know, for those of you that just want the immediate like success right away, like give it a second. Hold up, let him cook.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, for sure. So, you know, and because he's tenured. You know, he's a guy that knows how to build. We've seen him do it on the collegiate level. We've seen him do it on the NFL level. So, you know, I mean, let's let him build this thing. But I'm with you. I think he wants to ride off into the sunset.
Do you think, Michelle, like, is it like, in terms of a fan perspective and a fan opinion, like, how sold do we need to be on that idea? Because we do want it now. And we've been waiting forever. So if the Raiders go 9-8 and narrowly miss a playoff spot, like, is that something we would celebrate? Or is that something you think that we would be like, God dang it, we were that close. All we needed to do is win this 1 or 2 more games and we would have been there?
Yeah, I think it's like what we were saying with Antonio Pierce, if there was some improvement, like if we're seeing improvement as we go, I think it is worth celebrating, because I do think this next year's we're all gonna have to hug real tight and come in real close, and because I don't think it's gonna be like this magical, oh, they made it to the, like I do think it's gonna be a tough year, but there's gonna be progress in the major places that's gonna sort of give us the solace that we are headed in the right direction. And I do think that's worth celebrating, because you have to find something to celebrate when you haven't quite done it for the year. But I don't think he comes out of retirement or like if he didn't expect within the next few years to have something substantial. So, I do think I think 9-8 is worth celebrating, and maybe it's even better than that. I don't know. I think it is.
We talked about in that press conference that like when he rehabilitated programs, it took him a couple years.
Yeah.
Like, Spytek talked about swinging on quarterbacks and like, drafting like crazy and free agency and all that kind of stuff. The Raiders are going to do that too. And then because they landed finally on Russ, and then it took off from there. Yeah. Same thing with Pete Carroll. He didn't revitalize USC in 1 year. Like it took him a couple years. It took him some time. And so I think that that's an acceptable time frame. But I think the key to that, though, Michelle, is that you make a great point, is that there's got to be something significant. And it doesn't. I don't think it's going to take that much, considering where we're at. A 4-win football team. I mean, I know we're talent deficient at some positions. We ain't that talent deficient.
Right.
Like a pretty good quarterback. This is an 8 or 9 win team.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's not like my fandom showing there, right? Like that's, I mean, think about the games that we lost. I know we got blown out on a bunch of games, but if we have a good quarterback, we're scoring more than 20 points. How many goddamn games do we lose scoring in the teens? Like,
right.
You know what
Most
I'm saying?
of them.
Most of them. Like,
yeah.
Give us somebody that can put the goddamn ball in the end zone, and all of a sudden, this looks way different.
Just think about how many games that Brock Bowers wasn't utilized like he should have been. Those would have been wins.
Yes.
He only had 4 or 5 touchdowns all season long.
Dude,
like, bro, come on, man!
Ridiculous.
And it took the last game and the last play of the freaking season to see him score in the red zone.
Preach, bro.
Like, what are we doing?
You know, and some people would be like, "Oh, he was targeted other times." That bullshit. Yeah, he might have been thought about.
Yeah.
He might have even had the play designed for him, but the ball wasn't remotely close to where he was until, you're right, that last play of the freaking season.
Crazy.
And they toss it to him, and he guess what? He wasn't even in the end zone, but he took it into the end zone.
Yep.
Like, I can't imagine a world where a guy like Pete Carroll, who coached Jimmy Graham, doesn't understand the effectiveness of a tight end and throw it to him in the goddamn end zone.
Yeah.
When you're on the 5-yard line, let him compete with a one-on-one. And if he's doubled up, then fine. Then toss it out to whoever else.
Jacoby Myers
or whatever else. But if he's got a one-on-one, it's going there.
Yeah.
I know where I'm throwing the football. If I'm the quarterback, and I'm far from it, but if I'm the quarterback, every time, if it's a one-on-one, the ball's going to him. What 50-50 ball. Go get it. Go get it, Brock. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so freaking infuriating.
It is.
Like Brock for Brock, the conqueror himself, Brock. Brock. You want to see your husband fight Brock? You got it. It's on. You can't beat Brock. Best friend in the world, Brock. I got 2 words for you. Brock.
Oh my gosh, I'll never get tired of that one.
No, that's a great one.
Swag Jeff, we always take our callers and our emailers. We put them in a blender, shake them all up, spin them all up, and find out who's the best of the best. Who rises to the top? We call the Sizzler Award. And Swag Jeff, who do we got tonight?
Absolutely, man. Well, we had some great emails tonight. Raider Roo, Hooligan Nation, Soren, Martin, and Paul. And on the voicemail side, we had Josh in the East Bay, Jacob in Fresno, Josh in the 703, Jay in St. Louis, Steve in San Diego, Rafa, and Rico. But tonight's Sizzler Award goes
Josh
to
Nation.
Yeah, Dude, I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
We were Jeff Nation once upon a time.
We were.
And my Joshes are coming out.
The Joshes are coming out, man, for sure. So tonight's Sizzler Award goes to a guy that just stirred up great conversation and all that stuff. Tonight's Sizzler Award goes to Jordan Ford, Jay in St. Louis.
What's up, Jay? You got buttons?
Yeah, I'm hitting them.
Wow.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders. We're playing around today.
Oh my gosh, I could probably find it.
Whether you're Jedi Knight or whatever.
Oh, there you go.
Raiders fans.
We are Metallica, and we are here.
Oh,
for
nice.
your Oakland Raiders.
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Spy tech. All right, we appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much for this 2 hour and 33 minute extravaganza that we've had here. It's not a 3 hour show, a 3 hour show. But we've gotten close with 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So we appreciate all of those of you that have joined us on the audio podcast, all of those of you that found us on your favorite podcast service like Spotify, like Pandora, Google, it's YouTube Music now, Apple Podcasts. All of those of you on the audio podcast, we love you guys so very, very much and appreciate you. Appreciate also everybody in the chat room tonight at youtube.com/RaidersFanRadio. Appreciate everybody on the Facebook, everybody on the X. We love you guys so very, very much. We will see you next week. And we got a, you know what? Should we take next week off? We got a void week.
Yes.
Fine,
We've got a void week. So we'll go ahead and take it off because we've got in between now and the Super Bowl. So we'll take this one off and then we'll be back Super Bowl morning. And then we'll be back that following Wednesday. How's that sound?
Okay.
That producing and housekeeping on the fly. All right, we appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much. And once again, I will leave it to Swag Jeff to shout out the chat room. Swag Jeff, what do we have tonight?
Let's let Michelle do that.
Oh, okay, fine.
Chuck Rader's in there. Jordan Ford. Scott Sweaty's in there. Oh, Rodrigo Bejarano. He got made. He
became a member.
Became a member. Remember?
Thank you.
Remember? SoCal Sal's in there. Alan G, he's actually concerned that no one put Jim Otto on their top list. So
I had him in my
sorry.
honorables.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, bet you did. Alan G's in there. Jordan Ford. Berendo Ball Bombers in there. Let's see. Ron, of course. Yeah. Ron. Raiders are in there. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for being here, everybody. Oh, Mikey's in there.
Nice,
Mikey's long hauling tonight.
Yeah.
He sure is.
Tip to
He sure
tail,
is.
man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, tip to tail.
Let's go. Thank you, Mikey.
Easy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mike Haynes there for you, pal, huh?
Thought that had a whole different meaning.
I'm never going to live that down.
Nope.
No.
Definitely
No,
not.
you're not. I'm sorry, you're not.
Went too far on that segment.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah. So, thank you for everyone that's in the building tonight. Can't thank you enough. Hey, we're cautiously optimistic up in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? You know? I feel good. Yeah, feel good. So on behalf of Michelle, on behalf of Murf, my name is Swag Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm selling everybody, man.
Yeah.
That's what we do here at Raiders
Yeah,
Fan
they need to be
Radio,
sold.
where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. So on behalf of Michelle, on behalf of Murf, my name is Swag Jeff. We love you. Can't thank you enough for being here. For those of you on the audio podcast, if you made it this far, you're the real OGs. You're the real MVPs up in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? So thanks for being here. And we will see you on Super Bowl Sunday, huh?
Super Bowl Sunday. We'll peddle more optimism.
Yeah. What happens in Vegas started in Oakland. We love you. See you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.